Welcome to the Free to Play podcast, formerly known as the Travis Scott Burger podcast. And speaking of that, before we even get to introducing our guest or doing any housekeeping, I ate a Travis Scott burger after we filmed last week's episode. So I need to give a little review, right? Literally as we were backstory, right? As we were filming, finishing the recording, my girlfriend walks in from McDonald's. I end the recording. I open the bag, and I see the glorious halo. Open it up. On top of the sandwich says, the Travis Scott. And I'm like...
No burger, just the Travis Scott?
What is special with the burger? I thought it was just like a Big Mac or something, or like a quarter pounder. Isn't it just a quarter pounder? Or
What's special about it is that it has Travis Scott on it.
Exactly. It's just being able to say...
Don't you get it?
It's being able to say, bro, I just got that Travis Scott. Cutting the bit, it's literally a quarter pounder with bacon. That's all it is. But
I mean, bacon's always good.
Quarter pounder with bacon.
The quarter pounder.
And then it comes with fries with barbecue sauce and then a soft drink. Which we've also
But you have to get barbecue
talked about
sauce?
at the opening of the show.
That's strange. I guess it's what Travis Scott would want to order at McDonald's. I'm assuming that's the point.
Yeah, I'm sure that's I'm sure someone in a corporate McDonald's saw Travis Scott walking in every day and order the same meal, and they're like, we can market this.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure people are buying it like crazy.
I know, I'm going to.
I don't know how long I can keep this bit up. I was gonna go into a whole thing about the delectable onions on top of the savory bacon, but it's I don't feel like it anymore. It's the Travis Scott burger. It's good. It was a burger.
Can you use those adjectives in the context of McDonald's? Like savory and delectable?
When Travis Scott's name is attached, sure.
Travis Scott makes anything 10 times better.
You know,
but nothing else on the menu can apply to that. The delectable filet-o-fish sandwich with savory cuts of some type of fish.
The fish sandwich isn't that bad, but it's
No,
still
it's
McDonald's. It's it can be good, but when you're at McDonald's, you hit a ceiling automatically. You can't really go above that ceiling of quality.
Oh, absolutely.
And
yeah.
McDonald's ceilings are always set so low.
I don't even know why I like McDonald's. I don't eat McDonald's and go wow, that was delicious. I just eat it. And then I want to eat it again later on. It's not even good.
I think that's...
Chick-fil-A is good. Chick-fil-A tastes
general.
good. The chicken sandwiches are good.
Yeah,
McDonald's doesn't have that.
It's you go to McDonald's because the burger's all right. It's $2, you know. Maybe you get a little smoothie while you're there. Get some McNuggets, you know. Frick it up.
Put those McNuggets on the burger and you have a chicken beef sandwich. Boom. Mind blown.
You were literally destroying my
Travis
mind.
Scott's next menu item.
No, that could be the Kanye West or something. Except no one will literally work with Kanye West. But you know who I will work with? Holden DePardo is a guest on our show right now.
That was a good segue.
Oh, that fucking
Very good
segue, though.
Thanks, man. I've been working on it. Tell us about yourself. Why are you here?
That is a wonderful question. You tied me to a chair and forced me to be in this podcast, which is why I'm here right now. No, I'm kidding. I do a podcast with my friend Chad Michael Innes named Respawn Aim Fire. It is a video game podcast where we talk about the video game news, the video games we're playing. It's kick-ass, it's irreverent, and we have the dreamiest fan base of all time. That's
and
our
it's
pitch.
a gaming podcast.
It's a gaming podcast, yeah.
You can't leave that part out.
Yeah, I had to finish the intro. You know, I'm a mega fan.
Yeah, that's what we do. That's me.
I want it to be known, right? I want it to be stated on the record because I'm always honest on this show. I talked about last week how I hit Andrew up and was like, hey, can we record a podcast tomorrow? We've been working on it for a year. I just want to talk about games again. He was like, all right. I hit Holden up 2 hours ago. And I was like, hey, this is last minute. Do you want to come on my podcast? And I'm so surprised he said yeah.
Yeah, why not? You're good people.
You have chill friends is what is the point of this.
Yeah, that's
Is
accurate.
the takeaway here.
Well, also, it's like, no, I don't want to
And
talk about
without
video
them-
games. Video games are for losers. I don't want to talk about them.
Yeah, but like you could be spending time playing video games.
This is true. I could be spending more time doing that, just in general.
You could be, hear me out here. You could be playing Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, I have a
Just a
huge list
thought.
right now. I have Ghost of Tsushima I have to play. I have to finish Paper Mario Origami King. For our BARF game, something that we do for Respawning Fire, we were playing Horizon Zero Dawn. I see in the notes you have started playing it, and I haven't. The
Bruh,
3D
you
Mario games came out, and then when launch happens, we'll talk about all that stuff later on, and all those games I have to play. Oh, man, the list is too long. And Ghost of Tsushima's on there. I need to play that.
You really do. Imagine not playing Ghost.
Hi.
Anyway, we've hit, I guess, 7 minutes because there's like 3 minutes of like just bullshit. And we haven't hit housekeeping, so let me hit you with that. I don't have any housekeeping on here because I forgot to update it. But I made some
Good
socials.
job.
I love, in housekeeping, I love being straight with you guys. It says, I don't know, maybe I'll have socials made before this episode goes live. And
Spoiler, he won't.
I did this time. Look at me.
Did you? But you didn't update it.
You know, I don't need the sass from you, Andrew. At least I did my job, and that's all that matters. You can follow us on Twitter at the F2P _podcast. Instagram, I don't even remember. It's in the description. I don't know, man. Follow us on YouTube if you're watching on podcast services. Follow us on podcast services. Apple Podcasts coming soon because that takes the longest to approve. Follow me and Andrew on GG. Our link's in the description. I'll put Holden's too. He doesn't really post much, but he's there.
I am there. I always
And-
mean to, and then it becomes this like long list of like, wait, what have I played in the last 3 months that I forgot to add to GG? And then
I feel
it's
that.
yeah, it's a mess. So like apparently, actually, I'm curious. What does it say I'm playing right now?
I had to go through and shelve like a bunch of games the other day.
Oh, I always feel so guilty doing that. It's like I love
Yeah,
you
see-
still. It's not that I don't like you. I'm not playing you right now.
It's like I don't have any time, you know?
I wish there was an option that just like I still like this game. I just can't play it. But I feel like if I'm saying I shelved it, it's like this game sucks. Like I don't even
Yeah,
want to
that-
finish it.
I
That's
was-
not true.
I feel like the options should be a little more, like, I guess, diverse in, like their descriptions and stuff.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, I was talking to him about that a little bit, and a lot of people have brought it up as well, that it's like he's working on a multiplayer kind of thing, because if you go into the most abandoned games, they're like multiplayer games. And I've always felt that was kind of disingenuous, because it's like, it doesn't mean you don't like the game anymore, it just means you put like 3,000 hours into it, and it's just like you're not really playing it anymore.
There's also some games
Which
like
is like
Mario
something he's
Kart,
addressing.
where like Mario Kart, I'll just turn it on and just play it because I just want to do a few rounds of Mario Kart. But I'm not like playing the game like I'm
Exactly.
playing Ghost of Tsushima and like blowing through that story.
Yeah, it's like I'm not gonna go on GG every time I boot up Smash and click playing. You know, like I
Yeah.
will say recently, I think Chad's played like 400 games on GG. I went through his list because I was trying to like just fill out everything I've played ever. So I went through his list and just like see, did I play that? Did I play that? Mark that kind of thing. Good times.
Little fun
It
thing about
sounds
GG, because I saw like in past like few months, I feel like GG's blown up, and you have all these really prominent video game personalities, like from Kind of Funny or from IGN, who are now tweeting out and sharing their GG experience. It's like, I'm like total hipster moment here. Like I knew them before they were cool. I knew about
Yeah.
GG like over a year ago. Like we talked to that dude. We invited him on the podcast. He didn't end up doing that, but like we've known him for a while. You guys are all
Yeah, like,
posers. Not
I've
you
had that
guys.
moment.
Like Kind of Funny and IGN. And I'm also being facetious. Not even them.
I've had that moment too where it's like, if I talk about GG, it's like, oh, you're jumping on the bandwagon, bro. I've been on here for a while, but I'm glad it's getting a resurgence. I'm
Oh,
glad,
100%.
I like the dude a lot. I'm glad he's like, hopefully, getting a chance soon to like just focus on the app for now and not have to like
Mhm.
work somewhere else. Because it seems like he's getting
Yeah.
close with like the amount of elites, and that I'm happy for him.
100%. Yeah, it's really cool. It's made by one dude and isn't this like corporation that's running the service. It's nice. It's not a bad app too. It's a pretty good app.
Yeah, it's pretty dope. All right, Andrew, you have the floor. What have you been playing this week? You can rant for 40 minutes again about obscure 3DS games if you truly feel like it.
Oh, dude, you know.
I will say, last night I finished doing the timestamp so you can like break it up in segments on the YouTube thing, and it's like a big portion if you count both of them is like your rants about 3DS games, and it was so funny.
I'm sorry. I just get really passionate about 3DS games.
3DS
Also, like,
is the best Nintendo handheld, period. Like, if you don't include Switch, it's the best Nintendo handheld, period, I think.
I like the Game Boy Advance.
I'd say, yeah, Game Boy Advance is pretty good. I think 3DS is up there as well because it had some great games. I'm glad it's dead, but, I mean...
The number one reason for me is I can get every 2D Zelda game on 3DS. Well, mostly because not mostly, but also because I'm a part of the Ambassador program since I got 3DS kind of in that window. So I have every 2D Zelda game, and that immediately makes it the best Nintendo handheld because I can play every 2D Zelda, all of them, even Minish Cap.
Sure.
It's great.
See, I love the 3DS up until they remastered Luigi's Mansion, and it went to 3DS. After that, it was dead to me. How are you gonna remake one of my favorite games and like, on 3DS
shit job.
Yeah, not Switch.
Yeah, that's accurate.
What was it, Andrew? I missed that.
And do a shit job.
Oh, is it bad?
It's not good. It's technically like its performance is poor. Is probably one of the best ways to put it.
It's a GameCube game. Like, the 3DS should be able to handle that. That's weird. Were you playing on a new 3DS or just the regular 3DS?
I was playing on a new 2DS XL.
Yeah, that should be able to handle it perfectly. Wow, that's pathetic on Nintendo's part.
It was very disappointing. It's even worse in multiplayer, so...
Yeah, I think that whole release
when you have
is just
Luigi
disappointing.
and stuff.
Luigi's Mansion 3.
Cool.
They made it
That
up
game
with
is
Luigi's
good.
Mansion 3. It was very good, yeah.
It's just like, how are you gonna like hype up Luigi's Mansion 3 and then drop the remaster on 3DS? So stop trying to save that system.
It needs to die, damn it!
It kind of did. It's like, I love the 3DS.
It's discontinued.
Yeah, I forgot to put it on the show notes, but like they discontinued the 3DS, and like I'm kind of glad it's dead, even though I love the system, because it's like the Switch is like your most popular thing right now. Why are you beating this dead horse? Everyone who has a 3DS has a Switch by now. The second Pokemon came out, everyone transferred over.
Money, money, money.
They tend to do that with all their handheld consoles, though. Like how the DS was not meant to be like the sequel to the Game Boy. It was like
it was
just
a
this
third
other
tier
project. Yeah. And I think it did the same thing to like the advanced model of Game Boy as opposed to like the Game Boy Color. It was like, this isn't like this isn't like the fucking successor or whatever. This is just another project all of its own, even though it's the Game Boy Advance. So it's it's like kind of strongly implies that it's a grade above.
Why did they even go with that model or try it? Because like their third tier has not worked out ever. Like for example, Virtual Boy. That didn't pan out well. That was a third tier. Just stick to it. That's why Switch is great. You have one tier, Switch, and then some bullshit mobile games that no one really cares about. But you got the one tier, which is Switch. It's much better.
Until the Switch Pro comes out.
No, it'll still be the same tier, though. I think it's going to be like a new Switch, kind of like new 3DS.
I think that's the most logical. I just don't see the point, per se.
Next-gen
Unless they want to do the PC route, which seems like the consoles are doing now with the Series S, which we'll get into. It's like if they want to do the PC route and they just optimize different like versions for each Switch, that would be good. But it's like you're also going to have, with a higher res Switch, if they're really doing this 4K Switch, you're going to have third-party ports that third parties just aren't going to want to put on the regular Switch anyway. They're going to be like, don't care. Put it on the Pro.
We'll see. Yeah. So it depends how they position it. I wouldn't be happy about it if it's like like the new 3DS in the sense that it has like one exclusive game, like Xenoblade Chronicles 3D. Like, what's the point of that? Yeah. Anyway, Andrew, what have you been
Alright,
playing? Because I feel like I
Yeah.
dominated that and just totally changed
You have the
course.
floor, Andrew.
No, that tends to happen a lot here. So I haven't been playing that much this week. I've really just been playing Bioshock Bioshock 2 Remastered for the new 3DS. It's for Steam, and it's been a pretty good ride. I grew up with Bioshock 2 in particular. It was a game one of those games I've grown up with. So. Like, I really have that I guess, sort of rose-colored nostalgia glasses kind of effect to it, where, like, you know, I just really enjoy playing through the game again and again, no matter what. And it's even better now that I'm, you know, playing this remastered version. You know, it looks so much better and all that, and it runs pretty well, too. It keeps crashing about every hour or so, which is a little annoying when I don't save in all that time, and I have to restart an entire
That's
level.
really bad.
But,
Every
yeah.
hour? Wow.
Yeah, it's not great. I think that's a known issue for that game in particular, though, on the Steam store, and I have to look into that because I think there's a fix for it. But
Yeah, I played it on PS4 last year for the first time, and it ran perfectly.
yeah, it's a little
Hello?
frustrating. But
Hey, bro, I need
other
a
than that, I've really enjoyed my
yeah?
time with the game.
you to
You know,
make me another
it's the sequel to a game that was already
do you
really
need
great.
it
But in this
immediately?
one, you get to play as like one of the
What?
Do you
the
need
big
it
old monsters
immediately?
being the big daddies. You get to play as
no, but,
basically
like,
the
whenever.
fucking badass. You get
Whenever you
you
get
get
an
to see your
opportunity.
plasmid and your weapon. You
Alright,
get to
I
see
got you in
both
a
of
couple
those
hours.
hands on the screen.
Okay,
You don't
so
have to like
I'm gonna
use the
pitch the
bumpers
idea
to
to you
switch
first,
between
okay?
them.
Alright.
That's the best
and,
part of that
like,
game.
fire
This
them
is gonna
off.
be a
I think the story of
Yeah.
1 is better, but the gameplay of 2 is better than 1.
Be captioned.
Yeah, I think the gameplay is vastly
page,
better in the
his
sequel
eyeballs
than
are
it
gonna
is in the
become
first
so big.
game. I think the first
I
game
don't know what
did
you
have better
expect from
story.
me
I think
when
it
I'll
had
try.
some slightly better world building.
I expect Nicolas
I
Cage to
really
have
like the
nipples
levels
for
like
eyes. That's
Arcadia.
what I
You know how it
Mhm.
basically explained how
You want
people
man
are
nipples?
able to breathe with
Man,
you know
nipple,
oxygen
nipple,
and stuff
some
because
kind
they
of
have an
nipple. It
entire
could be a dog nipple
their
for all
own
I
entire
care.
like forest section in there that helps supply
Nicholas
the
Cage,
oxygen
my boy.
to the entire
I
city.
hate that
I
you're
also
not the
think
only
first
friend that
game
comes to me and
scares
asks for
were generally
memes.
better. It was
Yeah.
you know, these two are technically survival horror games, but Bioshock 2 felt like it had a much bigger emphasis on the badass action being a big daddy and all that, while the first game focused a lot more, especially because it was your first foray into the world as just this regular-ass dude who stumbled in on stuff, as far as you know.
Yeah, it's very much like the Resident Evil 4 of the Bioshock
I
games.
got you, bro.
Because
Yeah,
the Infinite
yeah.
like took it to another
I
level
got
and was
you,
even
bro.
more action oriented than before. Just like
Yeah,
Resident
no
Evil
problem.
5 was more
Take
action oriented
care.
than 4 was.
Yep, you too.
Thanks.
Yeah, I have that kind of feeling about it. I don't think it's like terribly scary, but it's still really fucking fun to play, and I think it did a pretty good job of like for its story building off of what the first game already had. Sort of intertwining like the new cast and stuff. Fairly, I think they did a pretty decent job with that, like intertwining them with the story of the first game. So I was pretty impressed by that. I thought Lamb was kind of interesting in her whole thing. Like, I guess she's still kind of like the big bad who's just like kind of looming. She talks to you on occasion. She's still kind of got that kind of vibe going on. But I liked her main point, like being the difference in philosophy from Andrew Ryan of the first game. Being all about getting rid of the self and all that, and all the splicers that are following her in this game are like all about the sake of the family, the collective whole, and all of that. So I thought that was a very interesting route to go, like just from what the first game was going for. I just think they did a good job with that kind of stuff.
I can't wait for the
anyways,
next one.
Ramble over.
I can't wait for the next one. I can't wait to see where they take BioShock next. It's gonna be exciting to see.
Yeah, especially after what Infinite did.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I was listening.
I think
I'm
Infinite
just
was the
kidding.
weakest of the BioShock games. I don't think it's close. And that's kind of like a hot take for a lot of people. I really didn't like Infinite that much. I really hope they don't try to do like Infinite
Dude.
again.
Why is
Infinite?
it a hot take? I don't like Infinite either.
Why do I like everything everyone hates? I love Infinite.
Oh no, I think Andrew and I are the minority of that one. I think it's widely considered that Infinite is the best of the BioShock games. I and maybe this is because of the DLC, but I really fucking hated the whole like everything's connected. There's multiple dimensions that link everything together. I'm like, I didn't need that. That's like midichlorians in the prequels. I didn't need that.
Can I just say that I'm starting to get a little bit tired, just a little bit tired of like a lot of the sort of like the like multi-dimensional and sort of like meta type plots that have been happening lately. Not that they're bad, and not that they haven't been done a lot before, but like I just feel like, you know, with everything being you know, so much more accessible now with like all forms of media, you like kind of see that stuff like so much more often, so it feels a lot more like you're bombarded with all that shit, and I just want to play a game.
In the case, and I think you're right, because thinking like the case of like, especially in BioShock Infinite, it feels like this like forced fan nostalgia that didn't have to be there, and like playing off of people's emotions, like, oh, don't you love this because it connects to the original game? You must love this because it look, it tied in. That makes it good, and it's like not exactly, not inherently. It could make it good, but not. Doesn't mean it has to be connected.
Yeah, I think I still didn't like BioShock Infinite for like a good, you know, portion of playing it, because it felt, you know, it obviously there's those other complaints about how like it feels like a pretty fucking generic like FPS game. It doesn't have as much of the charm as the original BioShocks did. But like, you know, I feel like it could be, you know, just serviceable as its own thing until it started trying to tie stuff in with all the metaverse stuff. I think if it just stuck to staying as its own thing, it could have been received, you know, as a slightly more, you know, just mediocre take that a lot of people still really enjoyed, rather than being this more controversial thing of like, this is the greatest, or this is really not great.
Well, to me, like, I got excited when I'm like, oh, BioShock Infinite. It's really not connected to to Rapture at all, and that's so cool because it's kind of like how Zelda games, like, there's that timeline that doesn't actually really matter. None of the games are really connected to each other. It's a new Zelda game, and it's in a slightly different Hyrule, and it plays off similar themes. Like, that's great. There's a lot of longevity in that. That's how they have been able to do Zelda for the past 35 years, and it really hasn't felt stale. It's been refreshed, but it hasn't, like, for me at least, hasn't felt stale.
Yeah.
And in BioShock, I think, had that opportunity. They could have gone to different locations and done like similar different kind of themes of different issues to talk about. And instead, it's like they had to make this, you know, cinematic universe. It's like the MCU. It's all connected. It's all one big thing. Anyway, I've made my case.
I never played.
Yeah, I think we're done.
I never played BioShock 1 or 2, so Infinite's pretty
no
cool.
counter opinions. Andrew and I are correct. No counter opinions.
All right, Holden, I need you to settle a tiebreaker for us, and I think you're gonna agree with Andrew, which pisses me off before you even answer.
I think I know what you're gonna ask.
I think you do. Banjo-Kazooie, nuts and bolts. Yes or no?
Never played it. I don't like Banjo-Kazooie. We played it on Barf. I fucking hate that game. So probably not.
Please get off my podcast.
Here's why. I never finished it. And wanna know why? Because of the stupid quiz at the end of the game that you were supposed to talk to that dumb witch and then learn
Brentilda? Yeah.
Yeah.
I know
learn stupid facts about the villain's college experience. And if you didn't memorize those facts, then good luck. It was awful.
That's kind of bullshit.
It is, it's the biggest piece of bullshit ever. Like, a game should build its mechanics, and then you can learn those mechanics to do greater challenges at the end of the game. And this is kind of like saying, like, hey, we've taught you how to play tennis. Now make a filet mignon for us. Like, what? That's not related in any way to what I was doing before. Why am I doing this? It just felt weird. It was,
Yeah,
so,
I won't front. That quiz was kind of weird. But, I mean, the game's still a classic. And Nuts and Bolts, everyone hates on it. It's such a fun game.
So let me ask you this: does it have a bullshit
great.
quiz? Does it have a bullshit quiz at the end of it?
Does
I
it?
wouldn't be
don't
surprised.
think so. Did you not beat it? You're
No, why would I beat it? It's not a good game. I don't like playing it. Why would I stick through to the end?
You can't criticize a game you haven't beat. Point and valid.
Yes, you
No,
can.
that's
Absolutely,
bullshit.
you can. I think like with a movie, that's fair because it's like 2 hours. You can finish the movie, dude. But a video game that's many hours long, it's a commitment. You can stop
I don't
playing
think a
it.
2 hour difference is going to change anything.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess.
I'm trying to think of a
but
game
it's
though
like,
where it would be true. Like what's a game that's like a
Undertale,
really
I'd
big
say.
twist at the end of it?
Undertale could like it pulls people in
Yeah.
at the beginning, but like it's when you get to the end that you're like, I'm sucked into this world.
That's a great example, yeah. Because by the end of it, I'm not going to say what the kind of the thing at the end of it is, but you can't understand that game until you've beaten it. So I think in that case, but I'd be very surprised if Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts had an amazing climax like Undertale that redefines how you view
Does
the
it,
entire
Brent?
game.
Does it?
Gruntilda loses her body again. She
Oh
becomes
man, what a fucking climax.
she becomes a janitor.
Well, so glad I
Great,
can settle
I'm
that
glad I
tiebreaker
know-
for you guys. I feel like
I hate
nothing changed.
God damn it, Brent! I can't believe you spoiled the ending for me. Now I really have no excuse to just go back.
The
and
plot,
finish
the
it.
most important part of Banjo-Kazooie.
Andrew, can I respectfully, as your best friend, tell you to shut the fuck up?
No. Permission denied.
All right, Holden, what have you been playing before I get more tilted?
Mario 3D All-Stars has been for the past 2 nights I'm playing that a lot. I started off and I just wanted to play the first levels of each game. That way when I go back and play it again, I don't have to do the tutorial bullshit. I just kind of have that out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
And I had never played Galaxy before. And let me tell you, that game grabbed me. Holy shit, it's so good. I
Galaxy's
can't
amazing.
believe how good it is.
Galaxy's really good. Yeah.
Odyssey has been my favorite 3D Mario game just because it feels the most full and it's fun to explore. The movement is so strong. And I feel like that is still stronger in Odyssey, but that kind of makes sense because it's like how many years later did, Odyssey come out?
Yeah.
But it's just you play Galaxy and you've never played anything like it before. The whole spheres and running around the planets, I thought that would be really tough to like just wrap your head around because 3D platformers are already kind of difficult just to kind of know where to jump in space and that kind of stuff. But it works perfectly. It works so well. So I'm really, really impressed with that. I can't wait to play more Mario Galaxy. Definitely going to get every single star. I already haven't moved on from a different galaxy until I've gotten every single star in that galaxy. Like I'm already taking that completionist mindset with it.
It's an addicting game. I do want to get 3D All Stars because I want to play 64 again. I want to experience Sunshine because I haven't really played it. We talked about it last episode. We went over the whole direct. I pretty much stole Andrew's copy of Sunshine and I never really played it. But
I'm not upset about it at all.
You should wait till April. Buy it in April. That's the time to buy it.
Oh, yeah, for sure. No, we talked about last episode, though, because I want to get to another topic regarding Mario. We talked about last episode that Galaxy's so solid and like people were mad that 2 wasn't wasn't included. But I don't really consider Galaxy 2 an all-star as much as like Galaxy 1 is.
It's still a great game.
Yeah, but it's like
I'm curious why they didn't include it. Because they're basically just emulating these games. And there's updates to the text and stuff to mention, Switch peripherals instead of GameCube or Wii peripherals. But why didn't they just include it? I can't imagine it wouldn't have taken them. It wouldn't have taken them that long. There's no way it would have been this huge endeavor to port Mario Galaxy if they've already figured out Mario Galaxy 1. So
Yeah.
I'm still surprised, but I'm not butthurt about it. I still think it's not a bad value. $20 per game, and they're all brilliant masterclass games.
Yeah. Yeah, you mentioned like your favorite was Odyssey. I really enjoy Odyssey. I think I'm partial to Mario 64 and 3D Land. I think those are my 2 favorite 3D Mario games. And if we're going 2D, it's World and 3.
3D Land is magical, which is why have you played 3D World?
Yeah. Me and Andrew
we played
the
it
whole
together.
playthrough.
It is so 3D Land and 3D World. like I say Odyssey is my favorite, but I think I like that structure of it's basically a 2D Mario game in structure, but it is a 3D platformer.
It's like a pseudo 3D game. It's like it's not quite, but it's like they're underrated. 3D Land specifically,
Absolutely.
which is dumb because it was a launch title. Essentially, I mean, it wasn't a launch title, but it was like most people who have a 3DS got it when it was bundled with 3D Land.
Yeah,
I'd say so. I mean, most people have played it, but it's like I never see anyone talking about it and like how great that game was. It was kind of a glorified tech demo for the 3DS, but done very well.
very well. Yeah, 3D is practical and useful, and it legitimately makes the platforming much better. That game is also a really fun Mario game to 100%.
100%. Oh, I mean, no pun intended. I'm so tired. Go ahead.
No worries. No, it's fun to 100% complete. The collecting all the stars is fun. The second half of the game, where it's the more challenging special worlds, is a total blast. Like, it's not common that you get difficult Mario levels. That's not really like what Mario is for. But those were some really hard levels in the last half of 3D Land.
I remember, I don't know why this is a vivid memory in my head. I remember going out to eat with my dad, with some of his friends, and it was somebody's birthday, I guess. I don't know. I didn't care. I was playing 3D Land the entire time, and I was getting so pissed because I couldn't beat, like, I think it was in World 8 or something. Yeah, because there was, like, lava everywhere.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I remember, like, getting that white raccoon suit and being like, fuck you. I'm gonna take it, but like,
Oh my god, I know that exact feeling.
It's so unsatisfying.
When you die so many times, and it gives you the fucking block, and you're like, don't
Yeah.
fucking patronize me. Come on, I can
like-
do this myself.
it's like I'm still gonna take it, but like, fuck you for making me take it.
It's like Shigeru Miyamoto pops up and is like, hey there, bud. I'm having a hard time with this level. Here's a little help.
I remember
Fuck you,
still
Shigeru
having
Miyamoto.
problems with it though.
No, I love Shigeru Miyamoto. I don't actually mean that. Shigeru, if you listen
Well,
to
he's-
this, I didn't mean it.
Can you please come on the podcast, Miyamoto, please? I can get Eves on here if you want to. I know you guys are like really good friends. I know, like, if he comes, you might come on. So
He's one of the biggest fans of the podcast, but after that, not anymore.
I also
one
played...
of the best E3. So, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I was about to go to a new game, but you go for it.
One of the best E3 moments is Miyamoto walking on stage with the Mario Rabbids blaster. Continue.
Oh, yeah, that was awesome. Because that's when we
Didn't he
learned
show
that
up
Mario
again for
Rabbids...
Star Fox?
I don't care about Star Fox. That was a cool moment, too, because we learned that Mario Rabbids was actually going to be a good game. Because all we knew is that it was a Mario and Rabbids game, and that just sounded like the worst combination ever. And it turned out to be fantastic, so...
I've heard about that.
What was that?
I said I've heard about that. I was surprised to find that people actually really liked that game.
Legitimately really good. It actually won Best Strategy Game at the Game Awards over like XCOM and other like really popular, well-regarded strategy games. And many people who
Are you serious?
Yeah, 100%. And a lot of people, I remember seeing a lot of interviews with developers who worked on like XCOM and other strategy games, and they talked about how inspired they were by Mario Rabbids because of how it handles movement. It's extremely clever and unlike anything that they had seen in a strategy game before. And it really is. It's legitimately a very good strategy game. It's not as deep as like XCOM or something like that is, but it's a ton of fun to play. It's Mario-ifying strategy games.
Well, shit, now I'm interested.
It's worth it. It's 100% worth it.
Yeah, might not be the deepest combat, but it's still more fun than most strategy games.
Absolutely, yeah.
Go ahead, Holden. You have the floor again.
Yeah. So Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle, definitely worth playing. Very, very good. The other game I've been playing this week was Animal Crossing. I kind of gotten back into Animal Crossing again because New Horizons is an absolute delight, and I have 4 stars on my island, which upsets me because I feel like I have a really dope island at this point, and I don't know why I can't get to 5 stars. So I'm just revamping it. I'm moving houses all over the island, whereas before I had this kind of like concentrated suburb almost. So I'm it's a big project. I kind of planned it out with all the houses I have to move. It's going to take like 10 days. It's a big, yeah, it's a big little project, and I'm considering time traveling to speed it up, even though I've not time traveled yet while playing New Horizons.
Get off your moral Animal Crossing high horse and just time travel. It's fun. Just have fun.
Oh, but I'm gonna upset like Tom
don't
Nook
worry
or
about
something.
all the fucking, don't get worried about all the people on Twitter who will inevitably criticize you.
I'm not a real Animal Crossing fan. Real Animal Crossing fans don't time travel.
Ever, at any point.
I'll have my
that's
Animal
such
Crossing
like a-
fan card revoked.
Yeah, that was such like a weird like moral stance for people to take when the game came out. Like, I get people time traveling like too much, like go to Christmas and stuff, like chill.
Mhm.
Like you can't even do that in the new game, which is good. But it's like if I want to time travel the next day to play the game I spent $60 on, so I can play it that weekend when I have time, I'm gonna do that. I
Yeah,
want to
like,
have fun, and I haven't touched the game since. So
yeah, it's like I don't have I personally don't like to time travel just for my own Animal Crossing experience, but like I can't stand when people dictate to others how they should be playing a game. It's really obnoxious. Like it's different than recommending. Like, hey, dude, I recommend that you try this weapon out because it's a really good weapon. Like that's one thing. But this whole like, if you time travel, you're ruining the experience for yourself. It's like the person's enjoying the game. I'm pretty sure the experience is just fine.
Yeah, honestly, that's how I felt about it when it was a thing. I think I actually was a little passive aggressive about it. Like, I made like some sort of like fucking like half-hearted joke at the expense of like people being overly critical on how people play games.
And Andrew never tweets, so you know it's serious.
It's a fine line. Like if someone made a YouTube video of like, hey, here's some reasons you might not want to time travel. That's cool. You're just kind of putting your opinion out there. It's like the dictating it and like the demanding everyone.
Yeah.
It conformed to how you want to play the game. It's weird.
It's very weird.
And your passive aggressiveness is appreciated.
Thank you, I try.
But that's all I've been playing this week. Mario and Animal Crossing. Like I said, Nintendo fanboy.
That's true. So, now to bring out my Sony fanboy card, Horizon Zero Dawn. I'm playing this with you guys for Barf. I played a little bit when it came out, like around when I borrowed my friend's copy. I streamed a little bit of it, and then I was like, I liked it. I've always had this like good opinion of it in my head. But have you played it at all, Holden?
Yeah, so I think Horizon and Breath of the Wild came out right when we started making the podcast, Respawning Fire. Although at the time it was called the Split Screen Gaming Podcast.
Can I steal that?
Well, it's Kotaku. That's the name of their podcast. We didn't realize that until after we made ours, so we had to change it. So I played Breath of the Wild first, and I think because of that, Horizon felt like it felt old. Like if playing Breath of the Wild felt like using an iPhone for the first time, going back to Horizon felt like using a BlackBerry. It just felt like an old way of doing open world games. I was frustrated I couldn't climb everything. I like using melee weapons. I'm not as big of a fan as using a bow. And it didn't have like the gyro controls to aim the bow. Like it frustrated me when I first played it. But I didn't think it was bad. I just couldn't get into it. So I'm excited to play it because now I have that opportunity to like give it a chance where it's separated enough from Breath of the Wild that I'm not constantly going to be comparing it to that game. My
current opinions right now are just like, it's a shame it got caught up in that same conversation as Breath of the Wild.
Mm-hmm.
I think it came out like the same month or like
it was within a week,
days before.
Yeah,
exactly. So it was like, it's such a solid game. I like Breath of the Wild a lot. I don't hold it to this amazing standard. I think it's a great game, and I don't have any negative opinions about it. It's just like, it wasn't this game-changing experience to me, but it's a solid game. So going into Horizon, like, I'm not sure which one I like better, but I think Horizon definitely was not dealt a fair hand. Because, like, I think it just got swept under the rug. A lot of people love it. Like, it's not forgotten. But it's not even underrated. It's just, like, it didn't get enough press as it should have. Like, this should have been a Game of the Year winner some year.
Instead, it lost to a Wii U game.
Yeah, that's accurate. If I'm not saying rush it out, but I wish it would have came out in 2016 to win over Overwatch. I love Overwatch, but why did that win? But it's a solid game. I didn't play much when it came out. I got to no spoilers right after the proving is when I got to, and I was like, this is fun. And I just never picked it up, and I think my friend took his copy back.
It's like 6 hours in, right? Like it's what 6 hours in. Because I think that's where I stopped too.
No, that's like I'm about 6 hours in, 6 to 8 right now, and I'm like way farther than that. I think the proving is like 2 hours in. And
okay,
it's like nothing.
It's been 3 years since I touched it, so I don't have a great memory of that game.
Yeah, I don't have too much to say on it. I'll probably write into your show to talk about it when y'all do Barf. But
in end of October.
I'm hyped for that. If y'all need a guess, I'm just kidding. I'll
yeah,
probably
absolutely.
write it or something.
No, you can be on absolutely.
Bet. It's a good game. I'm really enjoying this game. See, like, sometimes I use my spear, but like what you were talking about, I like the bow. I like a lot of the traps that you can use, like the tripcaster and the rope thing, and then like there's like a bomb thing. Like all those like different like ranged attacks are awesome, and I'm really enjoying that aspect of the game. I'm glad there's not too much of like a need to get more armor, which I think some people take as an L, but for me, I'm just like, I don't care all the time. Like, there's not many games that I want to get like the best armor constantly. Just give me one set and let me upgrade it, or give me certain armors that do better for certain stats that I personally want to do. Instead of being like, you need this helmet that you're gonna replace with this helmet in 2 seconds, and then use these foot pads, and like, I don't care. So
yeah, I like
think
having a
Horizon's
consistent
pretty good on that
outfit.
part.
I don't like it when the outfit changes all the time. I like a well-designed, good outfit.
That's why
which is my argument
I'm
why
liking
for
the gear.
Sekiro is a great game. Everyone should play Sekiro. Great game.
I can
anyway,
say the same
not
thing
related
about
at
Ghost of Tsushima.
all. That's a good game too. Sekiro, better.
See, that's what I'm liking about the gear system in Avengers. I think some people get mad that it's not Destiny, but like, just give me skins, man. Like, I like having the gear, and I like that it's not like, because I like Destiny, and I kind of like that I get to upgrade my character, but it's like whenever you get just a rare that's better than your legendary, it's like you look stupid. It's like, it's so dumb. So I'm glad that Avengers is just kind of like skins, and then you get gear that doesn't matter to your look.
Yeah, I like that kind of idea. I like okay, I'm about to talk about a 3DS game, so but in this game called Metopia, you know, it's like an RPG type game, so you get like different armors and stuff. But the thing is, like, you have like the armors and stuff that you wear for, like, you know, increasing your stats, your defense and all that, but you also have like the appearance slot where you can put those armors into your appearance stuff, and then you can, you know, just, so if you find some like armor or outfit pieces you really like, you can just put those in your appearance pieces, and then you can just look like that. And, you know, stuff like Terraria does the similar thing with the social slots, that you can put some stuff into the social slots, and that's how your character will appear. So I always like that kind of stuff, where you can still like keep your appearance one way while still getting like the good armors and stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty solid.
Basically, it's perks and then appearance.
Yeah, essentially.
And then, so this show isn't 3 hours. Real quick, the only other thing I've been playing consistently, I've played, I gotta say, close to like 15 hours just this week, is Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. I think I'm at total of like more than 30 hours. I'm loving this game. I just recently collected all the alien plushies the other day. You unlock a secret skater of an alien.
Oh, that's
it's
funny.
really cool. But that most of them are easy. There's a couple that were like, it's a little challenging, but I got it in a few minutes. The last one, you have to go on a secret map from Pro Skater 2. I'm not gonna spoil it though. I mean, it's like a 20-year-old game. You have to go on a secret map, and you have to ride this. You have to ride this rail, and it feeds the volcano. The volcano's erupting, and you have to go onto this ramp, and you have to boneless into the volcano, so it teleports you to a skate park inside the volcano. That took me not joking, 2 hours. That took me so long because I could not figure it out, and I was trying the best I could, and I couldn't do it. And there was a couple times I landed, and then it just respawned me back where I was. I was like, what's going on? Turns out, once you grind the rail, you have a 20-second window to get into the volcano before you have to feed it again. I'm really surprised like I actually stuck with it. I feel like a changed man after doing that. I feel like
That's dedication I didn't expect from you.
I feel like there's hair on my chest now, like more than that's already there, you know? So like I hate that. I hate it so much. Great game though. I'm going through the create a skater challenges right now so you can unlock Officer Dick. Some
That's
of these
the
are
best name I've ever heard.
Yeah, he's played by Jack Black in this one.
Oh, that's amazing.
That makes
It
sense.
is really cool.
That fits.
One of his special moves is like you do a grab trick, you go up on a ramp, and he just like stops and salutes. It's really dope.
Wonderful.
But a lot of these create a skater challenges, I'm dyslexic and I'm like I trip over my words. There's one I can't get. You have to get a combo with no grinds. It's a 25-point combo with one special. So my go-to is to go up a ramp, do a 900, revert off of that, and start doing a manual and doing a bunch of manual tricks. I've gotten to like 23 before that bar just keeps going like up and down and crazy, and I can't like control it anymore. And I have max stats, so like I've done all I really can to like circumvent that. And there's a few like that where it's kind of hard. Anyway, fun game. We can move on. But before we move, unless you guys want to talk about Tony Hawk, I don't.
Yeah, we want to spend the next 20 minutes talking about Tony Hawk's Pro Skater.
Andrew, can you, like, respectfully, I love you, can you shut the fuck up?
Sure thing, man. We've already gone on 52 minutes, so it's good.
I'm going to break the tiebreaker here, and I'm going to say, let's not talk about Tony Hawk for the next 20 minutes.
Sorry, Brent.
It's better than talking about Rune Factory 4 and like.
Hey, Rune Factory 4 is a genuinely good game.
And Fantasy
Not to say that
Life.
Tony Hawk isn't either.
Yeah,
Fantasy Life, yeah, I can see that.
I'm going to say I'd rather talk about Tony Hawk than Rune Factory.
Yeah.
Before we move on, let's take a word from our sponsor. And we're back.
Amazing.
I
thought for sure you were going to start talking about Travis Scott again.
I wish
I was
Travis Scott
convinced.
sponsored us.
I mean, to be fair, the next topic is basically a giant advertisement.
All right, let's chill over Sony for a little bit. This event happened on my birthday. Andrew, I got to call you out, right?
Yes.
You're the only person on this podcast that didn't tell me happy birthday, and you're my best friend, and I feel a little hurt by it.
Ooh, this is some
That's
beef
my
here.
bad.
Oh
I
shit!
thought it was September 22nd, but then
No,
I
you
found out, no, that's my mother's birthday, I'm pretty sure. So then I was like, well, who the fuck's birthday, like, who's the fuck's birthday am I, like trying to remember here, because I know yours and Mom's are both in September, so it gets confusing for me because I'm bad at birthdays.
Just
So
shut the
I'm
fuck
sorry
up,
that
okay?
I forgot,
Like-
but here's a very late happy birthday. I'm sorry, buddy. Here, let me give you a little pat.
The most
shut
genuine
it.
birthday wishes. Why didn't you wish me happy birthday? Let me give you a very genuine one right now.
Yeah, see, now I feel bad because I was going to do a bit where I'm like, shut the fuck up. Like, it doesn't mean anything anymore, but now I feel bad. Like, now I feel bad for getting mad at him. Like, I love you, man. I'm sorry for ever, like, doubting you.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. You put me on the spot, so I had to be like, oh, wait, I'm sorry.
Your other best friend, though,
Because I
Jim
didn't mean
Ryan,
to.
he wished you a very happy birthday.
You know, I was expecting, like, Jimmy Ryan and Mark Cerny to come in my house, give me a little ear scan, give me a little tickle, and then, like, drop a PS5 and leave. But, I mean, this event was good, too. Starting out with the event, it gives a little disclaimer. I watched this with Holden, just FYI.
Yep.
It doesn't matter. I just wanted to say it. It gives a little disclaimer that says this game was captured on PC. Doesn't matter. I'm just gonna point it out. Final Fantasy
reason.
16. Do you guys at all care about Final Fantasy in the slightest?
I've played some
am,
games. They're good,
yeah,
but I'm not like I wouldn't say I'm a huge fan. I'm interested in this game though.
I've got to be honest. I have never played a Final Fantasy game in my life, but I've always wanted to. I have like been interested in the series, like before, and like I watched someone play through Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I thought that was a very pretty enjoyable experience. Just watching it, it seemed like it was fun to play. So I always wanted to get into the series. I actually wanted to play the game, so like, because I guess like something about its world and its characters do like hold some amount of interest for me. So I saw it open up with like Final Fantasy 16, and I was like, oh hey, I'm interested in this because like the thing about it is like when it starts, it like its whole setting and everything is sort of like more like this medieval kind of thing. You got like the castles and everybody's talking in these more English accents, which is like maybe that was like something in a lot of the older games, but I don't know a lot of the older games. So for me, like knowing what I know about like the more modern Final Fantasies and like looking at this one, I'm like, wait, this is different because these recent Final Fantasies have always had like a lot of more modern elements in them, but this seems different. So it like caught my interest there. I thought it seemed like the story would be like an interesting kind of thing because it seems like it's going to be like one of those things where you play through some like past experiences of like being this like knight person protecting this like kid or whatever, but then shit goes down and now you're like this much older dude, I think, who's going out for revenge. I'm not sure, but it sounds decently interesting, and I looked at like the gameplay and stuff, and it seemed like a lot of fun. I liked the spell sword kind of style to it, where the guy was, had his sword in one hand, and then he was doing like some of the crazy magic shit with his other hand. I liked that a lot. So the gameplay seems pretty fun to me. I don't know. I'm interested. I'd like to see a little more from it, but I don't really know Final Fantasy, so that's about all I can really say on the matter.
Yeah, overall, I think the world definitely seems intriguing. I agree with you there. One thing that surprised me about it, and like one of my at least things I'm familiar with the Final Fantasy is that it's kind of always been like this technical showcase. Like Final Fantasy games are always some of the best looking games on the platform. Maybe I'm wrong. I could totally be wrong, but I kind of feel like that's been a precedent. Like Final Fantasy 15 looks incredibly good, like really fucking good. And I felt like the environments in this game looked really cool. The art design is really cool, but the characters, like the actual people in the game, don't look very next gen to me. They still look like a PS4 character model was put in a PS5 game with a PS5 environment.
It did look basically like 7 Remake.
Yeah, exactly. And that's not like it's a small thing. Like the game can still be very good, even if the character models don't look as good as the environments that they're in. But it just kind of seemed, it stuck out to me. But like, this is what happens to me in Final Fantasy trailers. This game looks really, really cool. But like, what I feel is going to happen, because this happens in Final Fantasy VII Remake, which I didn't finish this year, and I honestly don't think I'm going to at this point, is that it starts off strong, and then they get into some really trite, boring character stuff. Not that characters are boring, but it's just like, why am I looking for cats? 30 minutes ago, I was fighting this giant dragon, and now I have to care about this random little girl in town who says she's lost her 3 kitties. I don't give a shit, but it's part of the story, so I have to do it now. And I don't know why. It seems to kind of be a trend in JRPGs to begin with, and I think just the pacing of most JRPGs I've played is so atrociously bad that I will wait and see how the reviews pan out for this game, and if that aspect of the game is any different. Because the other parts look really interesting to me. Just to kind of like every point you touched on, like I totally agree with. Like for all those reasons, it looks like a fun game that I'm going to want to play. But I need to know if it's going to have the pacing that I like to see in games that JRPGs don't do for me. Not that it's a bad genre, it just doesn't do it for me.
Yeah, I could see that. Brent, do you have any thoughts?
No. No, I mean,
right,
thanks
cool.
for coming to Brent's TED Talk.
I don't have much to say. I mean, I liked Final Fantasy VII Remake. I couldn't get into Final Fantasy VII because it's just like I'm not a turn-based guy. Like I like it on some games. Like there are some games that are turn-based that I enjoy, but I can't say I like turn-based games. So like I never got into the series. 15 I enjoyed from what I played, so I mean 16 is gonna be on my radar for sure. Like I might pick it up full price if like nothing else is coming out around there, or like I'll get it from a friend or something. It looked cool. I agree with Holden that the character models looked off. Like for being a being a PC like demonstration, it didn't look that good. I mean, it didn't look ugly. It just like it was weird. I watched the 4K trailer and it was kind of like whatever. So I don't know. I mean, I kind of like that's going back to medieval setting, but I did like that new modern setting of 15. So I mean, take what you can get. 15's still there if I want to like play it. So I don't have much to say about it. It looked alright. That is true. I had it on PS4 and then I sold it because I'm dumb. But I want to get it back at some point. Actually, I won't have to once we get to a later news story.
Oh boy.
What story could you
So-
possibly be talking about? I have no idea. I guess I'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, it's not like we have the show notes open right now. Quick news on that. Final Fantasy 16 is going to be a PS5 and PC exclusive. Did not expect it to be a PlayStation exclusive, especially after the series has been going to more platforms. I mean, 7 Remake was on a PS4, but that was like a year exclusivity that they announced like before launch, like ahead of time. So it's a little weird, but it's cool to see.
Yeah, I'm just doing a double check on that to see if it is timed exclusive or not, because I feel like there were a few points in the event where those prompts weren't fully descriptive.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see here.
Or while we're doing that, let's move on to Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Yeah, I'll update you
I don't
guys
have much to
offline.
say about it because I'm really excited about this game. I've talked about it a lot in different places, and I'm sure I'll talk about it again. Some notable things, though, are it is going to be a PS4 game at launch as well as a PS5 game, which is going to be a launch title for the PS5, and it comes out on the PS4 like Breath of the Wild, which that kind of like catches Sony in a lie, more of like deception, not really a lie, but like they said that they believe in generations and that they weren't gonna like do the Microsoft route because everyone was giving Microsoft an L for saying Halo Infinite was gonna be on the Xbox One, and now Sony's like, oh yeah, Miles Morales and Horizon Forbidden West are gonna be on PS4 as well. So I mean, it's weird. I don't care. Like it sucks 'cause I like having superiority, right? Like I kind of like. Sometimes I hate when people are like, "Oh, this is on PS4. I don't have to buy that trash next gen console now." I'm like, just okay, keep it to yourself. But like, I'm not too mad about it. I'm not really mad that Sony quote unquote lied. Like, it's not that big of a deal.
I think it was DualShockers pulled up that quote, and because I remembered it just like that, like he basically saying like, "Hey, generations are important." Here's the full quote. DualShockers just pulled this up. Read this today from Jim Ryan. "We believe that when you go to all the trouble of creating a next-gen console, that it should include features and benefits that the previous generation does not include, and that, in our view, people should make games that make the most of those features." So people are kind of now saying, well, what he meant was the PS5 version of Spider-Man will use the haptics and DualSense features. It will take advantage of the SSD and ray tracing, that kind of stuff, and the PS4 version just won't do those things. I don't necessarily... I think it's still kind of disingenuous because I feel like on Sony's part, because they knew that they were responding to the backwards compatibility, forwards compatibility claims, generations claims of Microsoft. So they must have known that people were going to interpret it as all the games are PS5 exclusive. But ultimately, like it's good for consumers. So I'm not unhappy with it. But I am curious, especially when we get to talk about like Horizon, like how much is that game going to be tailored down to PS4? Like, is the world like, because this is one of the things with the SSD is that the worlds can be redesigned to load things in so fast that you actually don't have to have the same considerations you did for older consoles. How do you pare that down? Do you have like a bunch of loading screens when you walk into like a few certain areas of the like open world? Like, how does that work? That sounds like a terrible experience. I'm very curious how these games end up playing.
That's why I don't think Ratchet's gonna be on PS4 because that's a game that's pretty much, hey, look at this SSD.
Yep.
The game.
SSD, the game.
I'd buy it.
I would play it too. But I don't think it's going to hold down the consoles that much, like the graphics, because PC's been doing this for years. Like, you literally go on PC and you click, like, you want 1440p, 1080p, 4K. I mean, consoles are literally just PCs with a UI. Like, it's like, yeah, we've had trouble with it before, but with how much more these consoles are becoming PCs, I don't think it's that hard for a third party or a developer to make different graphic settings and just be like, PS5 gets 4K, PS4 gets checkerboard 4K, and then 1080p, you know?
Yeah.
Like
no ray tracing on current gen, but next gen gets ray tracing. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Just toggling it, yeah.
I'll have that thought in the back of my head when playing Horizon, though. Like, Spider-Man, it's like, whatever. Don't really care. It's Spider-Man. It's not going to be this top tier just experience. Just give me no load times and I'm fine. With Horizon, though, it's like, that's a massive open world game where you're exploring. There's like foliage everywhere. Like, that game should look amazing. I think it's still going to be fine, but we'll have to hold out on that.
Especially
the danger. Oh, go ahead and hold real quick.
No, Andrew can go first. It's fine.
It's
Unless he doesn't want to.
okay. You can go ahead.
No, it's Horizon's trailer, Forbidden West. When I saw that, it screamed next gen to me, and that was one of the first games I saw at that event where I'm like, this is what a realistic looking next gen game is going to look like. So to hear that game is actually a PS4 game too, that was just very surprising.
Yeah. Do you think... We'll get to it later. Do you have any thoughts, Andrew?
No, I'm good.
I have to edit this podcast so much.
I'm sorry.
Real quick on Spider-Man, the only other things is that Standard Edition is going to be $50, and then the Ultimate Edition is going to be $70, and it includes Spider-Man Remastered, which is cool. I'm glad it has a separate trophy list because I'm going to platinum that again. And it makes sense because Spider-Man's been that game where they've been like, hey, look at what the PS5 can do. Let's show you Spider-Man. So it kind of makes sense that there's a remastered version of it. Hogwarts Legacy. Did not expect this game. Not really going to touch on J.K. Rowling. She's being a really awful person. Don't support anything she does.
I've heard about that, yeah.
I like Harry Potter. Do not like J.K. Rowling. I support Harry Potter things because other people are working on them and not her. If it was
separate the art from the artist kind of thing.
I agree. I mean, I get it's hard. I didn't want to get into it, but real quick, it's like I get it's hard to kind of like separate things. If it was J.K. Rowling writing a new Harry Potter book, I would understand boycotting that because she wrote that book and it maybe goes through like 2 editors. I understand boycotting that because that's her work. A game though, that's like 200 people making a game and stuff. Like
she's not involved with it either.
Yeah, she gets a little paycheck, which I get people are like iffy about. I am too, but it's like I'm not going to ruin 200 lives because of what J.K. Rowling did. Like Harry Potter as a universe can stand alone from her.
Yeah, you retweeted something that I thought really hit the nail on the head perfectly. And it's basically just that, like, yes, her platform is going to expand technically because of this game. But at the same time, like, how much is her platform actually going to grow? If this game never came out, her platform is still gigantic. But the platform of this team working on it, they're going to get hurt a lot more than she would benefit. So it makes more sense to support the game for that team if you like Harry Potter, because it's not really going to make a huge difference for J.K. Rowling. Like, is J.K. Rowling going to be able to speak to a lot more people because of this game? No, she's not going to. She's going to have the same platform she currently has right now.
Yeah, this is not going to bring in people that don't like Harry Potter. Everyone's had like 30 years to figure out if they like Harry Potter.
Also, like, I get that she says some really bad things. I'm not defending the things she's saying. I don't see the things that she says in the real world represented in the world of Harry Potter. I don't. Maybe I'm wrong, but like I haven't seen a lot of transphobia in the Harry Potter series. So I kind of feel
think
like
the
it's
big
fine
thing-
to still like Harry Potter.
Yeah, I think the big thing is that like people don't want to give her money because she could use that money to like fund like things against
Mm-hmm.
like what was she? Was she like transphobic? Is that what it was?
Yeah, that's what people are saying.
Yeah, so she could use that money for like charities that are against like
Yeah.
trans people, which is awful. I literally do not support that.
Of course,
There
Like,
are
yeah.
full-on charities for that kind of stuff.
Well,
Dude,
like
there's,
there
like-
might be like for example, like Chick-fil-A CEO, like he
Mhm.
donated to religious causes. The religious causes are anti-LGBTQ plus.
Yeah.
So he wasn't directly funding like anti-LGBTQ plus. He was funding a religious organization that held those values. And I think it's kind of the same thing. Like she could donate to causes like that. She's still a billionaire. The profits from this game are not going to change that. She will
Yeah.
still be a billionaire. Boycotting it isn't going to take money away from her.
Yeah, before we talk about the game, I just want to get it clear. Fuck J.K. Rowling and literally everything she says. And fuck this whole publicity stunt to promote her book about an evil trans guy. Fuck that. Don't boycott that. Boycott that. Don't boycott this world.
Don't hurt
that's
these
been
developers.
existed. Yeah, it's like you're hurting developers, but also like this world has existed and so many people have found like refuge in this world and like
Mhm.
love it. You can
Hi.
still love the world and like hate the creator.
Absolutely,
like-
yeah.
People like America and hate the leader of it. You know, it is what it is. This game looks dope. It's
Absolutely.
awesome to finally see it, and I didn't expect Sony to show it off. I think what was it? Jason Schreier said that Batman and Harry Potter were gonna get shown off at E3 before it got canceled, so it makes sense that we'd see it this year. But it was so off guard.
It also just, oh god, the idea of playing a video game where you're not Harry Potter, you're your own character at Hogwarts,
I
going
love
to
that.
school, exploring around. That is so dope. I'm so on board with that concept.
I love the idea of like actually being able to not only explore the place yourself, like the fucking like school of Hogwarts, but also being able to go out into the world and discover shit. That seems really promising.
Yeah.
And the Harry Potter games, at least the ones that I played, weren't that bad actually. Like the movie, like the licensed games. I don't remember them being that
Secrets is
bad.
actually
I
Chamber of
think the
Secrets
Chamber
is
of
underrated.
I think the Chamber of Secrets for PS2 was like very well received. I think a lot of people liked that game, from what I know.
hmm But then when you get into like Deathly Hallows and everything, they were just kind of milking it at that point.
Yeah, the Connect game. The
Yeah.
Connect game happened.
Also, like, how
That,
do you make a video game of
PlayStation
part
Eye.
1 of Deathly Hallows? Like, oh, we walked
Yeah,
and
nothing happens.
We go into a tent and then we talk, and it's a dialogue-based narrative game. It's a narrative.
Roll
It's like one of those
credits.
like Doki Doki Literature Club kind of like you just read
Except
text. That's
bad.
the whole game, except bad. I haven't played Doki Doki Literature Club, but I actually
So
hear it's a very
good.
good. I hear it's a very good game.
It's like it's hard. Quick tangent. It's hard to play it now because I think everyone knows what that game is by now. But it's like I remember watching a Let's Play when I was supposed to be doing English work in class, and I remember being in the back and audibly going, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, for a game like that, a lot of the magic does feel like it's kind of like taken away. The magic, a lot of the magic does feel like it's kind of like taken away. Like, you know, after a while, you know, after the initial shock is gone, because you know it's everywhere. You know, at this point, so it's kind of hard to like, you know, really be surprised terribly like by some of the stuff that happens and all that, because you know, even if you haven't ever really seen or like seen much from the game or whatever, you've definitely heard about it and why it like can probably have some ideas of why it's in like pretty high regard. Like maybe not the exact fucking things that happen, but you can tell something happens.
Mm-hmm. It's a great game. I still think people should play it, but Hogwarts Legacy, I guess there's not much more to talk about, but it's the idea of like doing spells. If they pull that off right, it's gonna be a great game. Maybe have like
Dude,
a cool.
Can I just say, it's a very small thing because it's only shown for like 3 seconds. It's just one of the basic, probably one of the basic ass spells. But I fucking love this spell that I think that like Ravenclaw or whatever was doing. I'm not familiar with the house colors, but like he was using the wand to like lift up the guy and then he like brought his arm down to push the guy down. I really like the movements that they did with the wand there. It looked so good to me, and I don't know why. If they did a thing where you go into a lock on and you use the right stick or something to like wave your wand and do little like wave movements, that would be sick. I don't expect it because you still need to move your camera, but it would be really dope. I think that'd be a really cool way to do it. They need to get that solid to make this a good experience.
They should make it a PlayStation iToy game where you like wave your hand around to cast all the spells.
In front of a book.
Yeah, in front of a book. Yeah, in front of a book. Yeah,
in front of a book. Oh no.
My older sister really liked that game.
She was the only one.
She was wrong. Damn.
Am I wrong?
Not really.
No, you're not.
Exactly.
That comes out in 2021. I'm looking forward to that. COD Cold War. I'm not gonna bore you with my COD fanboyism, but it looked fucking sick. You literally could like meat shield people, and then you like stick a knife in their throat, and then you can like turn them around, stick a grenade to them, and like push them off. That was fucking
really necessary?
sick. No, but it's cool.
Is it necessary to like put a knife through someone's neck and then shoot them in the head?
Yeah, he shot him in the head too. It was sick.
Double tap. You guys not see Zombieland? You gotta do it. Double tap.
We're not in zombies mode though. That's the campaign.
Double tap root beer.
You don't know if they can turn into a zombie or not. Anything's possible. This is 2020. Anything is possible.
That's true.
You know what? Fair enough.
But that game looks sick. Looks a little over the top, but like I'm looking forward to the campaign. I have the alpha installed. I need to go play it after this. RE8 Village. I'm gonna let Andrew spill his load all over this because he's the Resident Evil guy.
Okay.
Is it on 3DS?
Unfortunately not. I think it wasn't like. I don't think there was even like really much plans to develop it for the 3DS because I guess they probably had to have known that it was going to be discontinued here soon. So
that's why
they didn't really like bother with that. So
they also just didn't have the SSD inside of it to really get the performance they needed. It's the one downside of the 3DS is that it doesn't have a super fast SSD.
The one downside. Hold on one second.
Now the problem is they developed it for the C stick, but it was too powerful. So they were like we keep spinning. Like the C stick's so good that we just have to port it to the consoles.
This little 3DS nipple is incredible because that's what it is. It's a little 3DS nipple.
All right, Angie, spill your load.
All right, so the trailer for I guess another sort of trailer for Resident Evil Village, Resident Evil 8, came out, and yeah, I liked it. It seems to open up with the protagonist from the previous game, Ethan, getting like kind of escorted around by some SWAT-looking dudes, and then he's like sees Chris, and he's like, Chris, what the fuck is going on? And then Chris is like, all right, like take him down and shit like that, and then he was knocked out. So that seems like a bit of I guess it's kind of a direct continuation from 7, maybe. But the thing that interested me is in some of the future shots where we're seeing your character and shit, moving around and doing some stuff, and his hand is not Ethan's hand. It's a darker skin color, I'm pretty sure. The shirt's different. I think it's like more of a jacket, but it could just be a dress shirt of some kind. But it's a long sleeve shirt, and he has a ring on his finger. I'm pretty, like, maybe the lighting was a little off, but I'm pretty sure that's not Ethan's hand. So I guess you're playing as a different protagonist for this one, actually. Perhaps. I don't know for sure, because I think all the times that you get the protagonist speak is like Ethan's voice, but I'm pretty sure that's not Ethan's hand. So we could be playing as a different person entirely. We could be switching back and forth from this new person to Ethan. Resident Evil 7 kind of experimented with that briefly when you in that section where you played as Mia trying to get Ethan out of the mess he got himself into. The
I mean,
plot
that's just
seems a little.
this is the one thing that Resident Evil needs is just more characters. It's the one thing it needed.
Yeah, but it seems pretty interesting. It's obviously taking place in a village, hence the name. So like it seems like it's gonna be a bit of a. The village seems pretty interesting itself because it seems more like kind of a small town in terms of its structure. I think there's like a castle or something, some structure like that in the background. Yeah, so it's obviously going a lot, like repeating a lot of the same, I guess, sort of like patterns as like Resident Evil 4, especially in terms of its setting. You start out at the village, you're probably gonna go to that castle at some point, and then you're probably gonna do some like underground secret lab shit in like the final like sort of arc of the game. So it seems like it's repeating that pattern. It looks like you're gonna be fighting some like zombified townsfolk people like you did in Resident Evil 4. I don't know what they're gonna call for the game.
Like it's interesting.
It's strange, isn't it? Yeah, because in Resident Evil you're usually dealing with a bunch of zombie stuff. So to see like a different sort of like not like mythological, but like a creature of the night, a different creature of the night, getting some focus other than like zombie type shit. Maybe there's zombie type shit too, but they're just adding this new element. I'm not too certain on that, but it feels like they could go in some interesting directions with that. Like it's especially nice because one of the main complaints about Resident Evil 7 was that all the like main enemies were just the same looking like black goop monsters.
Yeah.
So it looks like you'll at least see a little variety between the different villager guys. I have no idea where the story is gonna go because I don't know what happens to Ethan. I don't know how he's gonna be involved in the plot here. I don't know like where Chris and his like fucking team go after that initial interaction that he and Ethan have. But it seems like there are like in equal part also villagers who are more aware of themselves. Like they don't seem to like have like the different colored eyes and shit, because like there's this section where you like again the guy with the darker hand and wedding ring is like holding hands with these people. It looks like they're doing some sort of like fucking exorcism sermon type shit. And then there's like this lady who's like telling this strange story, and then they suddenly go into like fucking Tim Burton style like animation.
Yeah.
Telling the story about like the little girl who like wandered off into the to the forest and shit, and like she's saying, "Don't worry, it's just a folktale," and it's making you think, okay, so this like folktale or whatever is gonna have like something to do with the main plot of this game. So what is the main plot of this game? It definitely got me hooked because it seems like kind of weird, like something I wasn't really expecting from Resident Evil. And then the fucking piece de resistance at the fucking end of the trailer, there's this like older, like fatter looking dude who's like standing by a window or something, and he's like, he's basically like, if you're just looking window shopping is fine and all that, and that's like a neat little callback to how Resident Evil 4 handled its weapon upgrades and stuff, which was the merchant. So it looks like this game you're also getting a merchant. You're starting out in a village, you're getting a merchant, you're probably going to go to a castle and shit like that. It seems like it's really following in the footsteps of Resident Evil 4, so I'm finding that interesting. I'm wondering where they're gonna go with that. If it's basically gonna be like fucking like a reboot of Resident Evil 4, like that kind of thing, like in terms of its story beats and stuff.
I definitely got a lot of Resident Evil 4 vibes myself from this, where like Resident Evil 4 was this like turning point in the franchise. Like they introduced the Plagas, and it's kind of taking this different direction. There's a little bit more of like a like less about like an urban city and zombies in the city, and more of like this Spanish village and kind of area in Spain where there's like castles and shit, and like it just was it
more rural.
Yeah, more rural.
I can't
exactly.
say the word. Yeah.
No, I thought you were. I thought I got the country wrong. But no, yeah, it's more rural. And it changed the feel of Resident Evil in a lot of ways, and I got that same vibe from this. Where I'm like, ooh, this is a different vibe than Resident Evil 7 had. This is a different vibe than Resident Evil Remake 2 and 3. It's very intriguing, that transition, and I'm kind of glad that they're not sharing a lot of the story, because I think that having this revealed through the game is going to be fun, especially that castle. Like I think you're right, that castle's like the final area, and I kind of have chills of like, ooh, that castle's dangerous. Like, do I want to go there? Is that okay?
I have this...
Is it safe? It's not safe. I know it's not going to be safe. It's Resident Evil. But
right.
It's I definitely have a lot of intriguing questions going into this game now. I don't need to know anything else. Like, just release the game when it's ready.
I don't want to know anything else.
What was that?
I said I don't want to know anything else.
Yeah, exactly. I think it does a good enough job at keeping this level of intrigue, especially with that little story animation and stuff, to keep you hooked. Like, I wonder what this is going to be about. And also about the castle, I feel like that's going to be a definite thing, where it's going to be like kind of like an equivalent to, it may be like a sort of equivalent to the Majora's Mask Moon, where it's going to be this big structure that's going to be looming over like the village and stuff. You know, as you're like going through the game, maybe you're going to be spending some like a lot of time in inside or underground sections, but you'll get back out to the surface and start exploring a surface level again, and then like when you like get out, you will see that fucking castle looming overhead, and in some situations it may be closer than it was before, so like as a subtle way of telling you that you're getting closer and closer to that big ol' fucking castle area. I have a feeling it's going to be one of those things where it's just going to be this looming thing. You're like, yeah, I'm going to go there at some point.
But you don't want to, but you have to. Dun, dun, dun.
Right.
It's going to be great. I'm very excited for that game. I'm also happy it's a next-gen exclusive. That makes me very excited for it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So, Brent, do you have any thoughts on Resident Evil Village?
The only trailer that I skip in this event.
Are you not a Resident Evil fan?
No, I think I said it to you. I played 1, I hated it, but I gave 2 Remake a chance, and like I'll play it again because I think I was just tired that night, but I got kind of bored. But survival horror is not my thing. I think 7 didn't really look like it was gonna be my thing either, so I don't really think 8 is. So I mean, I'm happy for the people that like it. I don't want it to fail because it's Resident Evil. I mean, it's a long-lasting name. I'm not interested in it. I'm glad you guys are, though.
It's fine. It's fine to have wrong opinions. It's cool.
I have a question though.
Yeah.
What the fuck is Deathloop?
Oh yeah.
I'm a little more sold on this game now than I was before.
Me too. Like this trailer had a little more context, because before it was like, oh, I'm in a loop. This person's in a loop. We have to kill each other. And I'm like, I don't get it. But in this one, it's kind of like, okay, there's 8 targets, and I'm getting the impression that he has to kill all 8 so the loop ends, but I still don't really know what the game is.
Yeah.
What the gameplay's about. I'm sold on it. Like, I'm just hoping I find out when I beat the game. That's all I'm worried about.
At this point, what I've gathered,
beat the game to know what's going on.
It seems like it's. At first, it just looked like a shooter with a cool art style, and I was going, like I can pass on that. But now that we've kind of seen some of the powers you're gonna have in the game, like, ooh, this is like a fast-paced Dishonored, and that is dope. I'm very excited about that. I need to play Dishonored 2. That's on my
from Dishonored, and that's hype.
Well, it's the same team too, so it's not even like they're ripping themselves off. I'm fine with that. That's great. Also, all games like rip-offs of each other. Like any survival horror game is a rip-off of Resident Evil in some way.
100%.
But yeah, it looks like it's going to be fun. The thing is that next year is starting to shape up to be a massive year for games.
Didn't we kind of say that last year though?
Well, then COVID happened.
The unexpected happened.
Yeah.
The unexpected doesn't end on December 31st.
No,
if it doesn't end by
once
then,
the new year
fucked.
hits, we have all the problems are reset and it's all fine.
2021 is going to be great, guys.
It's
gonna be
rewind
great.
time.
The only reason I might not play Deathloop is just because there's so many other games to get. I mean, Ratchet and Clank, Resident Evil, God of War, Horizon Forbidden West, Breath of the Wild 2 might come out. like lots of cyberpunk expansions and all that. Like there's just too much already. It's insane. I'm pumped.
I made a vow to like play anything Arcane makes, except I haven't played Mask of the Outsider because Return of whatever that Lost Legacy kind of Dishonored game because it looked really dumb. I'll play it at some point, but I like Arcane games a lot, so Deathloop looks interesting. The DualSense compatibility sounds really cool.
Yeah,
like,
the jamming
jams and you can't like push in your triggers. I'm sold on Deathloop. I just don't know what the fuck it is. I'm sold enough to play it and find out. I just hope I find out at the end. I hope I'm not like at the end and I'm like, okay, he just killed everybody. What's the loop? I don't.
Do you want to know what else looks appealing too? It has like a Hitman vibe, but like Hitman on ecstasy or something. Like that's
I like
also
that comparison.
It's not my comparison. Someone else made it. I can't remember who, but it's I think it's a fair comparison.
Andrew, can you tell me what Deathloop is?
No.
Moving on.
I'm gonna be honest, it didn't really grab me, so.
Yeah, I mean it's another shooter which isn't really your forte. I think it's unique enough. At least I want to know why it's unique. Is like that's bringing me in. Whereas Ghostwire Tokyo, it's like looks fine. It's just the gameplay trailer they released this year looked underwhelming. It just looked like, oh, that's what you're doing. Okay. Like this though, it's like I'm intrigued enough to play it and find out. It's a PS5 exclusive, which is weird because it's Bethesda published game, but that's hype.
Good for
this
Sony.
Next one. Yeah, that is really good for Sony. They don't need it, but you know.
No,
this
they
next
don't.
one though. DMC5 Special Edition. At first I watched the trailer and I'm like, what is special about this? But like
then motherfucking Virgil comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, maybe that's why, because I don't play DMC. I want to. I have 5. I just haven't played it yet. Actually, my friend never gave it back to me, so whatever. So going on the PlayStation blog, it says Turbo Mode, which I think is like everything's faster, and there's gonna be like more enemies and everything. And there's Legendary Dark Knight difficulty. That sounds epic. And then it's gonna be $40 and includes Virgil. So that seems cool for people that like DMC5. It looks like there's enough new content for you. Slightly, you know, if you wanted to replay it, it's like, oh, replay it this way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I tried DMC5 on Game Pass, and it's not my kind of game. I've just never been able to get into action games like that where it's all about style points and like what your rank is going to be at the end. Like I don't know, I don't get it. I don't like combo games, which is why I don't like the earlier God of War games, but I like the new one.
Those earlier ones are still underrated. Underrated in a sense where it's like, in today's standards, there's not a lot of people really going back and playing it.
Mm-hmm.
And then when people do talk about it today, they always call it like archaic. And
yeah.
like, they praise the new one, which is amazing. But it's like, I don't think the old ones still get the love that they deserve.
And yeah, and to be clarified too, like I know that you don't get S ranks and stuff like that in God of War. I'm just kind of like it's an action game more at heart than the new one is. I think it's kind of what I was getting at. But I agree with your point. I think they're good games. It's just not for me.
Yeah, I feel that. Oddworld Soulstorm. Andrew's muted right now. I hope he's not an Oddworld fan. I think he is though.
It's okay. People can have wrong opinions. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean,
did you just talk shit on Oddworld?
I didn't talk shit. I just acknowledged that it's okay to have wrong opinions. That's all. I wasn't talking shit at all. That's not what the point of that statement was. No, you're fine, dude. You're fine. If you like Oddworld, that's good for you.
I'm not really. I don't dislike it or anything. I just never played it or anything. I don't really know what it is, actually.
I'm right there with you. I'd always see like Oddworld like new and tasty or whatever, and I'm just like, this looks dumb and it looks gross for the sake of being gross, and I'm just not I'm not into it. I'm not like disgusted by it, but it's like if something's gross to be gross, I'm just like, I don't care. Like,
the old games were better.
Yeah, here's the sign of like, I don't know, like franchises can stick to, this is going to be a stupid thing to say, this is really stupid to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. I feel like when I see a franchise that started on PlayStation and then went to Xbox and is now coming back to PlayStation again, and it's just kind of been like all over the place, and I don't know, like it just makes me think like no one wants this game. Like if PlayStation didn't hold on to it back in the beginning and Xbox didn't hold on to it back at the beginning, no one wants this game. It's just another thing they can say is an exclusive that was cheap to probably buy as an exclusive. Like that's, I don't know, like
it's kind of Final Fantasy though.
No, but the difference there is that Final Fantasy was on Nintendo, and they couldn't release Final Fantasy VII on N64 because the storage capacity of the cartridges wasn't enough. But the discs for PlayStation 1, was it PlayStation 5? PlayStation 1 was enough, so
Capcom did it.
So that they transitioned in that case, and then it remained a PlayStation exclusive up until they just started to go cross-platform and or multi-platform and on everything. So it's not like it was Xbox one year was saying it's exclusive, and then the next generation it was exclusive to PlayStation, and it went back and forth.
Yeah, I remember some of the Oddworld games like specifically being marketed like on 360.
Yeah. And they sold so well that Microsoft just really upset that Soulstorm isn't coming to Xbox. Actually, Xbox could use Soulstorm. They could use anything coming out within the next year at least.
That's accurate. Yeah, I guess none of us really play Oddworld, so moving on to something me and Andrew are probably hyped about. I haven't heard Andrew's opinion, but I hope he is, or I would disown him. FNAF security breach. Do you know the rumor of this, Andrew, that this was like his big like AAA game he was teasing?
I have not kept up on anything Five Nights at Freddy's since Sister Location.
I think it was like last year or something. He did an interview with Daco because Daco beat 50-20 mode, which was like really fucking hard. So Scott was like, all right, I'll do an interview with you. And he announced that like he had like some games he was working on, like the AR game which came out, the VR game. And then he announced a AAA game. And I think this is what this is. He's been teasing it a lot with like the Rockstar animatronics. And it seemed like to go in like this 80s vibe. When this trailer starts, there was a thing in the back of my head that was like, Five Nights at Freddy's. But it was like a joke. And then
you called it out really fast.
And then I see that like crocodile. And I was like, oh shit, it's Five Nights at Freddy's. And then Freddy showed up and I was like, it's fucking...
I like the red-eyed robot thing when it was calling to the little child and saying that it lost its temper. I liked that. It was scary.
No, for sure. Like I think if this is actually like a AAA like third person and not first person game where you're like walking around, huge for the series. Like that opens like so many horror like elements. Because I think the games are good, but I don't really play them. Like, I've beat them all, but it's like, every time they come out, I watch my favorite YouTuber play them, because I love the lore. That's what I love about the series. The games are fine, like, they're good, but I love the lore. But this, though, this is one where it's like, I want to play this. Because, like, I don't need a free roam game, but if you're going to make one, I'll play it.
Gotta be honest, I'm not really a big fan of how convoluted and out of control things have gone. It's one of the reasons why I've kind of dropped off of it. Like, I still watch people play the newer games and stuff, and I do enjoy seeing the games. They're nice little packages, little experiences, but the story is a little much, especially with the different, when you consider like the different continuities of the book series and all that.
Yeah, the books really muddied it up.
I feel like it's getting like that. This whole thing is getting really, really big for britches that are not as big, and it's for me personally, it is a little much. So I'm not so interested in any of the story bits anymore. But I am interested in this game, especially because it seems like, you know, a full-on AAA thing, because it was in an official, like, fucking PS5 showcase or whatever. So I'm interested enough in the game itself, but, like, the story could just go anywhere at this point, and I'd probably still look at the game.
There used to be a time where, like, wrapping up, There used to be a time where I could go to Game Theory, watch the latest FNAF video, and I would treat that as quote unquote fact, because it's not really, but it's like that's all we know at this point. Like that's the most logical answer. Now it's like there's so many things with new books dropping. It's like Matt Patch changed his mind on Golden Freddy like 10 times, which I can't blame him because they keep like mentioning it. So it's like I don't know like what to say now when people ask like about lore, because I used to be the lore master. I could just like talk for like an hour about it, which I still can, but it's like none of it is like confident in my head anymore. It's like I know key characters, but it's like, who is this? Why did this happen? Why this event? Who's Orange Guy? Who the fuck knows who Orange Guy is? I don't know. Is it Michael Afton? Who is Michael Afton? Who actually is Golden Freddy? Does Cassidy line up with that child at the end of like Ultimate Custom Night? I don't fucking know anymore. Why is Springtrap still alive? I thought he died. I literally thought Henry killed him in FNAF 6, and I'm done.
Security breach is going to introduce Chartreuse Guy.
I don't want to laugh at that because that's probably true. Holden,
Yes.
tell us about Demon Souls.
Oh man, Demon Souls. Holy shit. So I've never played Demon Souls, but I'm a big fan of Bloodborne, Dark Souls 3, and Sekiro. Sekiro is my second favorite game of all time. That game is fucking masterpiece. It's amazing. And obviously this isn't from Software, it's Bluepoint, but I'm so excited to get into Demon Souls. This is, I think, the best showcase of just graphical fidelity on next-gen consoles and what we can expect. It looks insane.
Yeah, it was like a straight like run through.
Yeah, I mean, it's gotten to a point where not everything, but a lot of this looks like movie CG quality graphics. And I think the ray tracing is a big part of that. When you see that monster at the end, like the big like demon thing, whatever it's called, it looks incredible. And I'm so excited to get into that world. I had been on the fence if I was going to get a PS5 at launch or not. And as soon as I saw that Demon Souls is a launch game, I'm like, there's no way I'm not getting a PS5 at launch. I have to play this game as soon as possible. Man, I'm so pumped. I've only bought 2 consoles at launch, PS5 included in that. And the reason is that there's not usually things I want to play at launch. Like Breath of the Wild on Switch, perfect launch game for me. Perfect. Mm-hmm. And this is like the other ideal, is having a Soulsborne kind of style game at launch for me. I'm hugely excited for this.
Yeah, this is going to be my first like launch if I can actually afford it. And I'm hyped about it. Spider-Man Enough was like, alone is enough for me because of Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. It's like my Demon Souls to you. Demon Souls is one where it's like there's so many games coming out, and I'm iffy if I can even like have my responsibilities paid for before I pay for the PS5, let alone games. Because it's like I want to get Godfall to play with you guys, and then obviously Spider-Man. Demon Souls is one where it's like maybe I'll get it in a month when I have time to dedicate to it. Plus a lot of other things, like I want Sackboy, like I want most of the game. So it's like, I don't know if I want to put Demon Souls on the back burner because it looks awesome. It's just going to eat so much of my time because that's a game I would like to platinum because I've been telling myself I need to platinum one of these Souls games. I want it to be Bloodborne, but
Sekiro is not that bad. Sekiro is not that bad of a platinum. It's the only platinum I have. It wasn't that bad.
I think I'll give it a chance. I think when I finally get Sekiro on sale on PS4, because I have it on PC, but I just don't want to continue that playthrough anymore. I want to get it on PS4 and kind of like sink time into it. Demon Souls looks sick though. Like I like that it was straight through gameplay. It looks really easy, probably because it's like the very first level, probably.
I think they also have a super buffed character.
Also accurate, but like there was like 10 enemies or something in that. There were a few times where he was doing like advanced moves and stuff though.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be representative of the gameplay. Like I understand for demo purposes why they might want to show it that way. I do think they probably it for people who don't know what Demon Souls is, that might be very misleading. Like, oh, it looks like this really fun, easy, like knight in shining armor like fantasy game. That's going to be fun and kind of like just a casual little game. They did show his ass
getting kicked at the end, though.
They did, yeah. But I know it. I know they're not going to change that aspect to it. Like that would be ridiculous if they made this game's super easy. Like, why did you remake this game if you were going to make it super easy? So I think it's still going to be a really challenging game. Yeah, man. I the only thing I can say is I'm super excited about it. I feel like that's like all I can say about the game right now because it's just everything about it looks perfect. I can't wait. I also hope there's a no HUD mode because that was beautiful.
That was sick.
Yeah.
I would imagine they would. Andrew, thoughts?
Yeah, I'm excited. Like
The most
just seeing
enthusiastic excitement I've ever heard. Yeah, you know. Like...
I'm a very enthusiastic person. I don't know if you could tell by now. But yeah, I'm pretty excited for it. I haven't really played any of the Dark Souls games. I don't have or Soulsborne. I don't really have any experience with them. I played the first game remastered, and I got just far enough to ring the 2 bells, and that was about as far as I've ever gotten. So I don't know how close to the real. Yeah, I don't know how close to the real end that is. If there was like a half a game left or what, but I haven't really played much of them. But from what I played of the first game, I did enjoy. But the difficulty was obviously a bit of a damper on that for me personally, just because I'm not very good at games, and dying all the time can sort of start to have an effect on you after a little bit. So.
I know it's a cliche, but it is very much the whole like get good thing. I know it's totally cliched to say that. It's one of those things like the more you play it, you kind of get used to it, and you start dying less because you start being more cautious.
Yeah, I can see that.
I would say what kind of like in terms of getting into like a Soulsborne game, if you just want to play a Soulsborne like a Souls game, I think Dark Souls 3 is probably a good place to start, just because. I think the newer ones control better, and that's really important for that style of game. Bloodborne is just if you want something fast-paced, and Sekiro is if you just want insanely fast-paced combat.
I do like my combat to be fast.
Sekiro. 100% Sekiro.
Sekiro was like one where it's like it's hard, but like I was able to not master, but do enough with it where most of the goons didn't really take much of my time. It was like the bosses that I struggle with a little bit, which I'm 7 hours in, but it's like I spent a lot of that time grinding and dying, I guess, because I'm on that like big ogre guy.
Oh, yeah.
So like
I've done 6 playthroughs of Sekiro, and I still fear that boss more than the main bosses in the game.
Damn.
By quite a bit. His grab attack is devastating. But like, the thing about Sekiro is once you get the combat down, and it's not even a grinding thing, because you only level up your character when you beat bosses. It's the only way to level up. Because of that, once you figure out the mechanics of each boss, you can blow through them pretty quickly. Like on my one of my later playthroughs, I didn't die until I got to the final boss. Because I just knew how to fight each of these bosses. Once you kind of learn their mechanics and being cautious for some of them or being more aggressive with others, you kind of figure out their deal.
You're a madman. Well, let's talk about game of the year. Fortnite.
Oh.
No.
I heard it. It cut to black right after Demon Souls, and I hear the battle boss, and I was like, "Oh my fucking god!" It was short and sweet though.
Yeah, this is the point where I've got to leave. So yeah.
It was important to be there though. It's like Fortnite's like the biggest game right now, so you want people to know that like, hey, you can keep playing Fortnite on launch, and there's a PS5 version. So it was good enough. It was like a 30-second trailer.
I feel like they had already announced that though. Like,
They
was already
announced it,
coming.
but it's like it's good enough to put in like a thing though, to get a trailer out, because like they released that Fortnite trailer like separately anyway. So like anyone watching the event that like doesn't keep up with, because I know a friend that really loves PlayStation. He's not reading the blog all the time. Like he's not always on gaming Twitter, but
then he's not a real PlayStation fan.
I guess so. But he always watches the PlayStation conferences and calls me after. But it's like, so that's kind of like for him though.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like if you don't know that, now you know, kind of thing. He also is reselling PS5s, but that's besides the point.
Oh, your friend sounds like a total dirtbag.
He's actually like
I'm just a lovely person. I'm just being being facetious.
I hated resellers, and I still kind of do some resellers until I realized like once he started getting into it how much of a fucking hustle it is. And like he's actually like one of the better ones though. Like he doesn't do a lot of the scummy shit. It's still like he's still making a profit.
No,
but
yeah,
like,
I get it. Yeah.
He's still there's been times where he's helped people out like a lot and then he's given like lower prices to people. At least I can say that about him.
I have my hand raised.
I legitimately feel
Andrew.
bad for calling your friend a dirtbag. That was not cool of me.
No,
I was meant it as a joke, but it was that was kind of over the line. I'm sorry.
literally he's the last person that would care. Andrew, in the back. You with the glasses.
Yeah, I'm not wearing my glasses right now.
Oh, you look like
joke's
a pink.
on you.
You look like a yellow squiggle on a pink pink
It's
background.
the wingding sign for H. like the last name. I'm clever. What is reselling?
That's
That was
when
like a
you buy
scalper.
something, and you
And
resell
that
it for a
is-
higher price.
Oh,
You buy
okay.
something and you resell it for a higher price.
So you see like the PS5 on eBay for $5,000. That's Brent's friend.
No, he wouldn't do that. 4,000.
4,000. Hey, people, I'm sure someone would pay that.
Dude, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I'm not giving his identity. Literally, like he had one listing up like the day they went up for. I don't want to give the exact amount. Like, a good amount more than going price. 2 people had already bought one.
Like more than twice
Wow.
as much.
No, not twice, but
When the Switch
It
came
was
out,
like-
a friend of mine bought a Switch on eBay for $500, I think. And I'm like, oh shit, man, you really wanted that bad.
But it's like you don't buy an eBay console until a week before launch, though.
Mm-hmm.
Like one dude even like canceled like the pre-order on him, but he got like a 30% recharge fee. So it's like, you made free money, man.
Oof.
Moving on.
So
So let's talk about Fortnite now.
No, that shit's
3 hours.
Yeah,
battle
for the
bus is
remainder of
sale.
this, let's talk about Fortnite.
now this one is like it's weird, but we'll probably talk more about it in the next main topic. Yeah, I know we haven't got to the main topic yet. I'm already tired. Fuck, I'm sorry guys. There's timestamps in the description. Holden, thanks for being a trooper, man.
Hey, no problem. I like talking video games.
I feel it. The PlayStation Plus collection. It seems like a really cool concept. It kind of feels like they wanted to do a Game Pass model but didn't want to like fully commit to it, but it's still like a very good value. I don't want to knock
Absolutely,
that.
yeah.
Like it's a very good value, and a lot of these I'm going to read off in a second, like 20 games they announced for it. If you've never played these games, you have them free with your PlayStation Plus ready to play on PS5 launch day, and that's sick. But it's kind of like I think people are already giving Microsoft the L. Like, why? These are games that came out like years ago, and that's all you're getting for now, except maybe one every month or two. You know, it's like Game Pass has so much more value. They're both good though. It's just don't stop giving Microsoft the L just because you want to. The games that are listed so far is Batman Arkham Knight, Battlefield 1, Bloodborne, Days Gone, Detroit Become Human, Fallout 4, Final Fantasy 15, God of War, Infamous Second Son, Monster Hunter World, Mortal Kombat X, Persona 5, sucks it's not Royal, but I mean, why would they do that? Ratchet and Clank, Resident Evil 7, The Last Guardian, The Last of Us Remastered, Uncharted 4, and Until Dawn. So a good selection of games for like people that haven't played those. Those are like a lot of them have sequels coming out, so like it's good to get those out.
Yeah, this is a crazy good value. I think the Game Pass comparisons are unfair because that's just not what this is. It's a different purpose. The Game Pass is a Netflix style kind of subscription service where, well, not Netflix style and streaming, but just, oh look, here's a huge catalog of games, download what you want. But this is more about saying, hey, you missed out on PS4. Here are the big hitters on PS4, and you can just play them. Like, that's it. That's what this is about. And it's free in a service. Well, it's not free, but it's in a service that you're already going to be spending money on most likely. So it just makes PS Plus a better value. Like, this is I don't. There are some people who've been complaining about this. I don't get it. Like, it's a great deal. I would never buy Persona 5,
100% a great thing.
but I want to try it now. Why not? This is also a good move too, because see with Batman Arkham Knight, never played it. Now I'm going to, because it's just, why not? It's free. Here's why it's also smart too. Ratchet and Clank is going to be in there for free. Do you think that might have anything to do with Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart coming out and enticing people to get that game? Why do they choose Last of Us Remastered, not Last of Us 2? Because it's about starting off with these franchises and then going from there. I guess the exception is Uncharted 4 is on its own, but I honestly think you can play that game.
Resident Evil 7 as well.
Yeah, but Resident Evil games, like, those story. I mean, yeah, sure, it has an ongoing story. Each game is effectively its own story.
It's also like
the lore is
it's
so
like
all over the place.
People are gonna play 7, and they're like, I like that. 8's gonna be in the same style.
Yeah, no, exactly. 8. Yeah, and what was the other one? God of War. God of War is coming out. Final Fantasy 15. Like, hey, experience a Final Fantasy game before 16 comes out. Like, this makes sense. It works. Like, it's a great way of kind of setting people up for the next generation of games while remembering what was good about the last generation, and specifically in genre or franchises that will likely be continued in the next generation of games. It's a smart move.
Yeah, it's a great value.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good shit.
It is good shit. AJ, I can tell by your silence you're either waiting for us to stop talking or you don't have anything to say.
You are right on one of those.
God damn it. I'm not playing with your bullshit, Andrew.
Best co-host. No, I don't got much to add. It's a pretty good deal. Great value. Holden made a very good point about the the setup for the franchises and shit like that. So I think it's a good move to make, but I don't really got much more to say than that, because everyone else kind of already made their points.
Well, we just want to know you agree. That's all.
I agree.
Yeah.
Good.
And if you don't, you doors over.
Yeah, you gotta leave.
I already said I agree.
No, it's a continued threat that you must continue to agree with us throughout the remainder of the episode. Otherwise, you're gone.
You must do so every 20 minutes on the dot.
We're not even gonna ask you your opinion. We're just gonna be like, Andrew, do you agree? Andrew?
Like, no one can see the camera, so we can like hold up a sign that says like agree. It's like you hold up like a laugh sign.
You hold up the applause sign for the laugh tracks. So yeah.
Yeah. PlayStation Plus collection. That ends the show. Just kidding. Last thing, there's two more things. Andrew, fuck you. Haha, you said the fuck word. Laugh.
You said it. I had to do it.
They announced the price and the release date, which I'll go over real quick, but that's going to go into our main topic. Disc drive version is $500. The all digital is $400, and the release date is November 12th. Do you want to discuss it now, or do you want to get into it when we get into our main topic?
I feel like anything I would say about this, like the pricing, is directly going to be related to talking about Xbox and how it compares. So, if you guys have something specific you want to say, like, absolutely, I'm in the next topic already.
God of War 2. They ended up teasing that, and the only bad thing I have to say about it is they haven't called it Ragnarok, but please, God, don't. I'm tired of everything that's Norse mythology just getting called Ragnarok. That being said, so fucking hyped for this. God of War 2018 was fantastic. I want this game. I don't think it's going to be a lost legacy. They've had 3 years. They've already made the engine. They've already learned how to do that free flow camera thing. It's time. I think it's a full game. I think sequels at least take like 3 years to make. A lot of games take 3 years to make, but especially sequels, because you've already had the engine, you already have the basis of what the game's going to be, which is why I believed a full Spider-Man 2 could come out this year, because they've already made New York City and they've already made the engine. It could have came out. Maybe they just wanted to do a Miles to like spice it up, but who knows?
I do have to say on that topic that Dallas and I had Dallas was adamant they were going to show God of War here, and I was adamant that they wouldn't show it because they don't have to show it. And just want to say, Dallas was 100% right, and I was 100% wrong. They showed it off. I was vehement. I didn't let it up.
I was kind of on the same page as you. Going into the event, though, when we were watching it, I was like, it's 50-50. I was like, looking at what they got, it's a solid show, but they could easily end it with that zinger, which is what they did. But going into it, I was like, bro, stop expecting everything, but I guess it was good to expect because it happened.
It happened, yeah. And I maintain that they didn't have to do it. Just for people who aren't a part of the group chat where we had this conversation, which is probably most people listening to this, and Andrew. Sorry, Andrew, I don't mean to exclude you. My point was that they're not going to show up God of War because they don't have to, because they already have such a huge lineup of games that are coming out in the next year that it would just be like beating a dead horse, the dead horse being Microsoft's exclusive games. Like, they didn't have to do that, and it'd be better to wait because at the time I was thinking a God of War announcement in 2021 at like E3 or whatever would mean more than a God of War announcement right now. Like, don't play all your cards. Like, this is it's a marathon, not a race, or not a sprint. But now I'm thinking, like, geez, like, if they're talking about God of War right now as well, what did they have coming up for PS5? Because I refuse to believe that we've seen the majority of the PlayStation 5 exclusive games.
Definitely.
So I'm really excited for the future of this because God of War was announced here. What cards have they not shown us? Because it feels like they have played all the cards we were expecting. Now it's all a mystery, and that's really exciting for me.
I was 50-50 going to the event. I was leaning towards they should do it because, and I think you disagreed with me a little bit when you were watching it, but I think it's kind of good for people to know what's coming, especially before pre-orders get announced, because they got a lot of games. Sure, they really do.
Yeah.
But there's not many staying franchises that they've showed besides like Ratchet and Clank, which is like, that's not going to be your average dude bro gamer jam. Whereas God of War, that's all around. I know so many people that are like, if they're watching that event and they're like, should I get a PS5? And then they end it with God of War 2 and they're like, that's one of the only games I've played on my PS4. Maybe I should pre-order the PS5 or get it ready, get it on my radar or something. Like, I think it was a good thing to get it out there. Like, this is coming. This is hype. Get hyped.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So,
yeah, I think for the people who don't follow the industry super closely, I totally agree with you. For kind of people in the podcast here, we all knew they were going to make God of War 2. Like, it wasn't a surprise. Like, oh my God, they're making another one? Like, whoa, I didn't expect that. I think we kind of knew. It's like Nintendo. They don't need to say like, hey, we have a new system, and by the way, there's going to be a Mario game for it. Like, we all know what's going to happen. Like, is Rockstar's next game going to be GTA 6? Yes, of course it is, because that's what they're going to do next. What?
Bully 2 hasn't been a thing yet. Don't skip numbers.
they're just going to skip it, bro. It's been too long.
Holy 2? What are you talking about?
They're going to skip GTA 6 as well. It's just going to be GTA 7.
We're talking about Bully, Rockstar's other game.
Oh,
That
Bully.
wasn't
I thought you said
M-rated.
Holy. I'm
Yeah.
like, what's Holy 2? What are you talking about? Yeah, Bully. I never played Bully. I've heard it's fun though.
I haven't either.
It's pretty nice. It's a pretty fun time. Little dated, but it's a fun little romp, and it's a lot different from some of Rockstar's other games because again, it's like a more of a T for teen rated game because it's like a school setting and all that, and so yeah, I like it.
Well, Andrew, the conversation is counting on you.
What's happening?
Yeah, you kind of cut out the very beginning there, so I didn't hear the first part.
Oh shit!
So he nervously said, "What's happening?"
Was that it? Was that all?
Do you have anything to say? We're waiting on you. It's like
About-
it's like when everyone's looking back in the class when the teacher asks you a question like, "I'm not moving this class until you tell me what Y is, Andrew."
Fuck.
I don't have all day. The bell doesn't dismiss you. I do.
You know what? That is true. Where was I? Where was I before I cut off?
Oh, I was just asking you your opinions on God of War.
Oh, God. Okay. Yeah.
Cool. Moving on. I'm just kidding.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm excited. I'm excited for it. You know, it's another God of War game. You know, the first one, not the first in the series, but like the first of this like new like sort of like setup that they're doing with the series. But the first one was really neat. I enjoyed it a lot. I liked a lot of the armor pieces and stuff. That was fun. To mess around with for me. I don't have much to say on it because I didn't actually experience much of the game. Like I only played like I want to say like 7 hours maybe. Is about like how far I got.
The original one or the first new one?
The first new one, the new little series that they're doing, with Boy.
Boy.
Yeah. I don't know much about like the mythology and stuff, so like all the things that happened in that game were like very new to me and stuff that I didn't know. And I imagine it still would have been pretty cool if I did know the stuff. But the fact that I didn't add like some sort of like some mystery and stuff too, and I was alright with it. I was like, I did feel a little lost like at some points where like if I didn't know the mythology, I was like, what does this mean like right here? But I'm probably less excited than others would be because again I haven't experienced much of the game and I don't know much about like the stuff that it's building off of. But it seemed to excite a lot of people. Like all they showed basically was like played the voice, and then they showed the little logo as the letters were going on it, and then it was just Ragnarok. There was no God of War on there, but everybody knew what it meant.
Mm-hmm.
So
it might not even be God of War. It
kicking.
just might be another game with the Omega symbol as its logo. Who knows?
War of God.
War of God.
God.
God of War I recommend finishing because it's one of those games that, like Undertale, when you finish it and there's kind of that big thing at the end where you realize it's actually part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. You realize what the lore means, and it makes a lot more sense, and it's a cool moment. I'm sorry if I spoiled that for you, but it's worth finishing.
It's all good. I don't have it right now. It wasn't my copy. I don't have like a PS4 or anything. I don't have any of the current gen consoles.
Are you getting a
or anything
PS5?
like that.
Are you going to pay for PS Plus?
I can't afford it. I might be able to, but we'll have to see how the next few months play out.
See, here's all you need to afford a PS5. You get like, and you don't have to pay for this. You just like get a knife from your kitchen. You go to a launch event and you just be like, hey, like, give me your PS5. What are you going to do? And you get the PS5 and then you do the same thing to Sony headquarters to get a PS Plus subscription. And then you're set. You're good. You don't even have to put money down.
Or you take that
on
knife and you cut out a kidney.
Yeah, they only need one of them. So that's like a good little like threat to do.
Yeah,
like,
sell that. No, just cut out your kidney.
This is so dark.
Sell that on the black market. Those things go for a lot of money.
I feel like where I am, I'm the only one who's gonna get their kidney out is me, and it's not gonna be for me.
You're accidentally gonna cut your own kidney. Like you better give me that PS5, or I'm gonna cut my kidney out right in front of you.
Why would you do that? Just give me the goddamn. No, stop! Wait, hold on. Like it actually winds up working. Like the guy is so grossed out by the potential of.
It's like I have so many options.
surgery.
I could stand here and watch this guy cut his kidney out, or walk away. I have to stay here. I have no other choice.
like I can't look away at this point. I have to see what happens. Is he gonna do it?
Obviously,
so
we don't condone going to a launch event with a weapon. To be very clear, we do not condone that. Especially going to Sony headquarters. Don't do that either. Don't go to people. You don't go to people with knives and threaten them. It's not a good idea. PlayStation 5 is not worth that much.
People are actually going to take this advice.
I mean, this is the internet. Who knows? I heard Holden say he was condoning violence on Brent's podcast. It's not good.
Hey, this is Andrew's podcast. Like, I
Don't
started the
pin this on me.
conversation. I started the conversation so Andrew gets to take accountability.
don't pin this on me, you bastard. You labeled me as co-host in the first episode. You can't change it now. It's written in stone. It's on the record.
I said I'm your co-host with my other co-host Andrew.
So we're
in
both
this
co-hosts.
together, buddy.
We don't have any ownership. We both get to go away. Holden's the host.
No, at the beginning of the episode it said it was a guest. Can't nail that on me. You guys said
damn
it, not
that's
me.
true. Shit.
Well, I've had the Travis Scott burger, so I'm actually an extended being. I've ascended. I'm literally not mortal anymore.
That's how it works.
All right, fair enough.
You can't incarcerate me.
Maybe, so when you eat the Travis Scott burger, you chose wisely. That's what they say. And then it's the Holy Grail and you get eternal life. I hope that reference made sense to people, but it made sense to me.
True. Whenever you eat the Travis Scott burger, I went sicko mode, brother. I hate that I made that reference. Even though I really like the song and I like Travis Scott a lot. All right, boys. 2 hours in.
Yeah.
Our main topic, which hopefully lasts 30 minutes.
Do you want to know like what's interesting? We've already gone like pretty much over the length of the last episode, and we said we were gonna keep it shorter. These
We'll
are just gonna
talk
get
about that.
longer, is what I'm gathering.
Next week it should be shorter because there shouldn't be that much news. I hope. God, I hope.
Nintendo suddenly unveils an entirely new console.
God damn it.
They announced their
All right.
sleep quality stuff, the quality life things. You can play Zelda in your dreams now in realistic photorealistic dream graphics.
Shit, I wish. I feel like, I swear to God, dude, stick with me here. The night Tony Hawk launched, September 3rd, that night, I was playing it. Went to bed. I literally was playing it in my dream.
It was a rainy evening.
12 o'clock, midnight, birds were chirping.
At midnight.
They could have been crows. I don't know.
The empty streets were filled with the sounds of crickets.
The murderer was going outside my window.
He wanted a PlayStation Plus subscription.
All right, I have a thesis statement for you. You care if I present it in front of the class?
Hit us
Absolutely.
with it.
Thank you, Miss Baker. All right. We now know almost everything we need to know about both consoles. Which console seems like the better choice, and what do we wish were different about each platform? I wish I wrote that better, but I wrote that in 30 seconds. And
That wasn't a thesis. That was an open response question.
Shut the fuck up, Andrew.
No, it's kind of a
He
thesis.
said the-
It's introducing the points we're going to be talking about. Which console we like
See,
better.
Holden gets it.
It's just a thesis with a question. It's a rhetorical question. Which means we
Fair
can't
enough.
answer it, and that's the end of the podcast. Bye, everyone.
Hey, if you want to leave, just tell me, bro. I mean, you ain't
No,
gotta find an excuse.
I'm here. I am here for it.
So, you take the reins on this one, Holden, because it'll give Andrew something to think about, and then I want to give you your own time to shine. I guess just answer those questions, I guess. Like, what are your thoughts on the consoles? Not looking at, I mean, you're a Nintendo fanboy.
Yeah,
So
of course,
it's not like you have too much of allegiance, but I know you play on
Mhm.
PS4, so looking at this from like all sides.
I think that
Answer
the
the
best
thesis.
console is the friends we make along the way. That's the real best console.
Exactly. He gets it. He gets it.
Damn, then he could be your co-host then. Shit.
No,
Shit,
like
just go ahead and take my job.
I think the important part of being a fanboy, this is going to tie in. The important part of being a fanboy is just saying, I love this brand. It's not saying you hate other brands. And I think people get caught too much in this whole, if I love this, I must hate everything else. It's like, no, that's actually a really terrible approach. You love what you like, and you should love that other people like what they like. So, like, to me, I'm a Nintendo fanboy, but I play on every console. I have a PS4, I have an Xbox right next to me. I've owned I've owned a 360 in the past. I've owned like Vita and PSP. Like, I have lots of experience with other consoles. But definitely Nintendo's where my heart lies. I must have a soft spot for Zelda. But new generations are always exciting because, I don't know, like, I think console wars is kind of stupid, but I do like the debate around it and kind of the figuring out like details, because I think there is in this case a more definitive platform to get right now. But that doesn't mean the other console's bad. And I think that right now the PlayStation 5 is the console to get, just because of the games that you can get along with it. I mean, the price is the price. I mean, it's kind of, I feel like you're putting hundreds of dollars down regardless. But I just feel like they have better positioned themselves to kind of have that passion and that drive to get people to want to get a console. I think the passion and drive to get an Xbox Series X is just, I want my games to look as good as possible. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, if you're a Xbox person and that's your brand, I think the Series X is still a good purchase for you. I think this is kind of designed, though, for people who are already Xbox fans and just want a better Xbox experience. And Xbox Series X offers that. Sony, however, though, it's not even about getting a PlayStation 5. It's about playing Demon's Souls. It's about playing Ratchet and Clank when Ratchet and Clank comes out. It's about that God of War announcement. It's about the experiences I'm going to have on that console. And I feel like that's kind of what's missing on Microsoft's part. But the reason I say that this is the case right now, we still don't know what those other studios Microsoft invested in, what they're going to turn out. And so I feel like this could change, and we could be in 3 years a situation where we're saying, yeah, Sony's got really good games on their console, and so does Series X. There's a lot of great first-party exclusives. But right now, I just feel like it's a very clear answer. If you want a next-gen console and you're not already aligned with a brand, you should get a PS5.
Yeah, I mean,
unless the price
fair,
of the Series S is really compelling to you, because that definitely is an important factor too. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah, no, you're good. That's a good point. It's like, to be fair, yeah, I think PlayStation 5, looking at it from a overall standpoint, does have enough to entice you on launch. If you're interested in those games, that is definitely the place you want to go, because if you go to Xbox, you still get all your multiplats.
Yeah.
But there's not that many like new things releasing on Xbox. Like, there's exclusives, but it's like, are you gonna be interested in it? Is that a Game Pass game you play for like 20 minutes?
Well, is the medium a compelling game in the same way that Demon's Souls is a compelling game? And I think the answer is no, it's not.
My big thing, I mean, recently I've been sucking like Microsoft's fat chode for a while, just because like
Descriptive.
because like I think everyone knows I'm a PlayStation fanboy, so it's like I don't want to come off as like I'm always like sucking Sony's, you know? So it's like I want to give Microsoft some W's, because PlayStation fans can be some of the most annoying fans. Next to like Nintendo fans and like crying about a direct. Not all Nintendo fans, not all PlayStation fans. I guess.
Oh, I cry every time. Every time I cry.
But it's like PlayStation really can be the most annoying fans, because we have so much good stuff that it's like you're gonna look at the Xbox and it's like, you don't have those games, so you're trash. So it's like, I get it, but I think a lot of people forget Microsoft was the first to announce the console. I mean, yeah, we knew the PlayStation 5 was gonna be the PlayStation 5. Like, we don't need to know the title, but it's like they were the first to come out and really say something besides like a Wired article, like they did at the Game Awards. And from then, it was like every month or every 2 weeks or something, we got new information. Austin Evans was taking the system apart. Microsoft was talking about it. Phil Spencer was talking about it. They were doing smart delivery, all these things that were like, they were on top. Everyone was like, Microsoft is killing this.
Oh, I was on that bandwagon for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like, where is Sony? What are they doing? And then Sony drops that awesome conference, like, video, and then everyone is like, Microsoft butchered their marketing when they had their showcase. It's like, why? Weren't you just saying that, like, they were doing so many good things? Obviously, different people saying different things. Whatever. But the point is, it's like, they've done so much that they instantly get clowned on later because Sony does something that's a little bit better. I think it comes down to end this tangent. I think Microsoft has so many good elements, and I think they're going more in a pro-consumer move. Say what you want. I literally don't care about why they're doing it. I don't need people to tell me, oh, it's because they're losing, so they have to be on top. Oh, Microsoft didn't want crossplay 3 years ago. I don't care. It's happening now. So, like, that's all that really matters. They're doing these pro-consumer practices now that I don't feel Sony really wants to do until their leg is pulled. Because, honestly, Sony is a very cocky company. Did Xbox get that way with the 360? Yeah, a little bit. I'm not even going to front. But it's like Sony's a very cocky company. So sometimes I like seeing Microsoft take W's because I want my platform of choice, PlayStation, to take more W's because they get humbled. Which is why I think the PS4 succeeded, because they took that L with the PS3 and then came out of the gate and smashed Microsoft in the face.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, this is like, it's the nature of competition. Like, this, like, I've heard that too. The whole like, oh, Microsoft's only making these risky moves because they're not first. It's like, yeah, that's how competition works. Like, congratulations, you've studied economics.
Plus, that was Don Matrick, so say what you will, but like,
yeah. Oh, they definitely botched the Xbox One launch for sure, and I think it's still impacting them to this day. I think people still have a bad taste in their mouth over that. But yeah, it's like, I feel like I was definitely in that bandwagon of, man, Sony's really dropping the ball by not talking about the PlayStation 5, and Microsoft's really killing it by always having on-point messaging. For me, it was like a turning point when Sony had their showcase and we saw like what real next-gen games are going to look like. Blew my mind. It was incredible. And then I feel like Microsoft's messaging has slowed since then. And it's like they kind of traded off. Like, when Microsoft was doing really well with their marketing, Sony wasn't doing well with their marketing. It was doing weird events like Road to PS5. And then after Sony's event in July or June, wherever it happened, it was June, it just switched, and then Sony started being kind of on point with their messaging. And Microsoft started having kind of odd things like Halo Infinite. It's gonna be a good game. It's gonna be a great game, but it wasn't the showcase that I think they wanted it to be. And then like some of the kind of, it's not Microsoft's fault, but like the turning back on smart delivery, where, well, yeah, we're doing smart delivery, but we're not forcing third-party publishers to do this. So you're gonna have some games that don't offer upgrades, and you're gonna have some games that are going to charge you $10, and it kind of became a little messy. And I think that their messaging was stronger at first, but it didn't hold up and started to kind of fall apart. Whereas Sony didn't start strong, and it seemed like to me, it seemed like they weren't talking because Microsoft was doing so well, and obviously that wasn't the reason. They just were holding off for some reason. I don't know what that reason is. So I feel like in the marketing push, it's been an interesting kind of back and forth in that.
Yeah, Microsoft really blew their load at the beginning, and then
Yeah.
they didn't really have anything to announce.
Yeah, exactly.
What are your takes, Andrew? Sorry, we've talked for a long time.
No, it's all good. So I personally like this stuff can get a little difficult for me to wrap my head around in terms of like the nature of competition and stuff like that when it comes to like all the new gen stuff, because especially when it starts going into specifics, because I'm not very far into that kind of stuff yet. I've only just now like had a bigger foray into like more like full on like PCs and stuff, like instead of the laptops that I've usually used throughout my life. So I'm not exactly like up to date for sure, like up to date or like knowledgeable about these kinds of things. So when I think about the like this thing or the other thing, like this console or the other console, like which one is more worth it, I usually have to base that more off of like almost like, not that it isn't a factor for other people too, but like for me I kind of have to base it like almost purely on like which one am I gonna have more fun with, like which one am I going to like actually like actively enjoy playing more? Which one is gonna have like more stuff that I actually like to do on it, like that
It's the
kind
best
of
way
thing.
to
Instead of
approach it.
like, yeah, instead of stuff like which one like looks nicer, because yeah, that's like certainly
the better
a factor for
gigaflops.
things. Like which one
I'm
which
buying an
one-
Xbox because it has more flops in it. It's the only thing that matters to me. I don't care about the games. I just care about how good
Right.
they look.
Not focusing on the gigaflops and the terabytes, which I mean, actually, terabytes are a real thing. Whatever. I was trying to.
Terabytes
combine
are a
the
real
two.
thing, yes. Even I know that. Come on.
I didn't think
Gigaflops are
about it
real
for a
too.
second because I was like switching the two, and I was like, "Wait, is a terabyte like a real thing?"
Gigaflops are real too. The PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 were measured in gigaflops.
Interesting.
Teraflops weren't invented until PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. That's when teraflops were invented.
The more you know.
Flops.
Flops.
So yeah, I usually have to base like what my decisions more on stuff like that. So I don't know as much about Microsoft, but it seemed like they didn't have much in the first place. In way of that. So like when I just look at the two, like if I could get either one, I think the PlayStation 5 feels a little more worth it to me. Just because of what it promises so far and like what it may continue to promise in the future. There's also that whole voice crack, that whole like PlayStation like collection thing. There's like a lot of games there that I personally like missed out on completely because I don't have those like current gen consoles. I never played games like the Last of Us. I've never played Spider-Man. I've never played Bloodborne, and I want to play that. I don't know if I don't know how people will feel about this, but I want to play Detroit Become Human. I do kind of like those kinds of games. I know about the problems with them and like how basic they can be, especially like for David Cage's like messages and stuff for his games. But I still like them. I still like playing through them. Stuff like that. I get it's not for a lot of people like the movie game type of stuff, but I generally enjoy most of the ones I play. So I do want to play stuff like that. The PlayStation 5, I'm looking at it and I'm seeing a lot more games that I want to try, that I want to play, that I definitely feel like I'll get a lot of enjoyment out of. So that's what feels more worth it to me. I don't know if I'm doing like a good job of explaining my viewpoint here.
No, I totally
That's how
hear
I
you.
feel.
I think that's the best way to approach it is, what am I going to enjoy? Like, who cares what other people enjoy? What am I going to enjoy?
Yeah, you make a good point. It's like the console you go is where the fun is.
Yeah.
So it depends on what that fun is for you. If you want to play these exclusive games Sony has, then it's like, yeah, do that. These are your ray traced, amazing looking, fun games that are brand new. I think something that goes into Microsoft is it gets beat to death, but Game Pass.
Yeah.
Game Pass really is the standout thing there. Because, yeah, Sony has this PlayStation Plus collection, which I think that's where I'm slightly like it's kind of competing with Game Pass, only in the sense that when you boot up a console, you have a subscription that gives you games that you can play that you missed out on last generation. It's not the same format, but it's still giving you that thing where Microsoft's like, here's 200 games you can play. Sony's like, okay, here's 20 great ones.
Mhm.
But it's like Microsoft does have Game Pass, though. You have like, okay, this is getting into a question that I want to bring up from Dallas, one of my really good friends.
Dallas is dope.
Dallas is the GOAT. I love him so much. So he asked, gun to your head, Xbox Game Pass or God of War Ragnarok? He says God of War, parentheses Ragnarok, Spider-Man, parentheses Miles Morales, and Horizons, parentheses Forbidden West. I don't know if he means like both of them or like just the new ones. Either way, even if it's all 6 of them, I think my point still stands that those games are great and I would want to play them, but I think getting down to minutia of it, Game Pass. Because looking at it, you have games like Doom and Witcher 3, Red Dead Redemption 2, Halo, Like now you're getting EA access with this. You have classes like Battlefield, Mass Effect, like Dragon Age, Need for Speeds, all of those. Trying to think, Dead Space. So many classes. Like, yeah, you've probably played them all. If you've played all those games, then yeah, I mean, you're gonna want the new ones. But it's like for a lot of people out there, they haven't played every game that's ever been made. There's a lot that people miss out on. So giving like Game Pass with a brand new console, especially if you do that all access plan, that subscription, like licensing fee thing, that no brainer. Literally for $35 a month, you're getting the Series X with 2 months of Game Pass Ultimate. So that's gold, Game Pass, EA access, all that, 2 years. So that's, and it's $25 for the Series S with the same stuff. So it's like, and on top of that, the Series S itself, I think Sony has better games, and the SSD really is what's going to push a lot of those games forward for the first parties. But Microsoft has value.
100%, yeah.
Even the Series X is a more powerful console for the same price, which, get into the minutia of it, probably not going to matter. Like, it's got a couple more flops, but it's probably not going to matter, but it's a fact, I guess. But Sony does have that SSD. But Microsoft is about value. So you have that Series S, which I want to get into a conversation later. I don't want it to take too long. But they have that Series S. They have the all-access plan for you to do that rental service with Game Pass. So, like, if you do that, it's like you're getting that console for cheap with Game Pass. 2 years of games to play. So many new games. Xbox is constantly throwing their first parties on there, like Gears, fun stuff like Grounded, and then Outer Worlds. Like, it's not a Last of Us, but those are fun. And games are fun.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, so it's in my tangent. It's like, do you want like amazing games or do you want value? Like, what is more important to you? Which games are more important? Do you want more games or do you want better games? Which Microsoft Game Pass has amazing games on it, but you get my drift.
Yeah, I think this is why, like, when I was kind of starting off, I kind of tried to emphasize the right now PS5 is probably the better console to get. Because, like, when you're at launch, you're talking about a lot of hype and the most dedicated fans, the early adopters. Those people are going to be enticed by new games they can't play anywhere else. But you talk about a year down the line, 2 years down the line, 3 years down the line, when mom starts buying console for her kid for Christmas, like, the value is the more important thing there. And I think a parent going into a store and seeing $300 Series S and you can spend $10 a month and get access to all these games, that's going to be more compelling to the parent than, Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah, also, like, to say this before you finish your point, because it might add to it, backwards compatibility as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, for the Series X, or if you have digital 360 games, it's like, and Xbox original games, like those all work, adding to the value.
Yeah, no, 100%. It is the value console, and I think it's a really Microsoft has positioned their cards very well for that. I don't think they're going to win the launch window.
Which is not what they want. Like, they don't.
Yeah, they don't want that. Yeah, that's not what they're going for. Like, they even kind of talked about how, like, console sales isn't the most important thing for them anymore. And when I say, like, win the launch window, like, I actually think PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X are probably going to sell very close to the same amount of units. Like,
I would like that.
To kind of cite my, like, cite the claim there, Xbox One had an abysmal lead up to their launch. It might have been one of the worst, maybe Wii U was worse, but it was one of the worst lead ups to a console ever. It was embarrassing for them, and they still sold exactly the same number of units as PlayStation 4. They both sold 1 million units on launch day. Like, it didn't impact it because the people who are buying consoles right now are the dedicated fans. They're buying an Xbox anyway. The real the real metric that kind of gets looked at is like the road to, or the path to 100 million units, the road to 10 million units. It's kind of said, like, once you've hit 10 million units, the first one to get to 10 million units, that tends to be the overall winner of a generation.
Yeah.
Because at that point you have the install base and developers to kind of know, oh, this is the console I want to put my exclusive game on because there's already more people on that console than the other console. But a lot of people don't know that yet. This is all about the fanboy hype and the early adopters.
Yeah, I think the biggest, I just will say this and then Andrew can talk for 20 minutes. The biggest thing that's going to determine a console winning for sales isn't the dedicated fans. It's the dude bro gamer. It's the people that kind of like games, like they want a Netflix machine, but they want to play some games on it. They want it like, and for a lot of those people, I see them always buying Xbox. They had the 360, they got the Xbox One. It's like it's for the people, the moms, the parents that are like, oh, let's get our family a video game console. Let me just invest a little bit in this. So it's like those are the people that are going to like look at the Wii. That's why it skyrocketed.
Of course, yeah. And on the other side of that,
Switch a little bit of that.
And on the other side of that, though, Wii U is when only the fans buy your console, and you only sell 13 million of them.
Yeah.
Like, consoles are supported by everyone else.
All right, Andrew. Second piece. Let me ask a thesis question then. Unless you have something you want to say real quick, Andrew.
No, everyone else made good points.
So, the Xbox Series S is $300. It's a 1440p machine, 120 frames per second, which they say. And the PS4 digital edition is $400.
PS4.
I mean PS5. It's $400 the digital edition.
I can't wait to buy the same console I already have again. It's going to be lit.
Yeah, we need another SAD. We definitely need another SAD.
Yeah.
But while those aren't on the same level, do you guys see them? They're going to be kind of like in the same conversation. They're both the value, quote unquote, consoles. So where do you really see the conversation leading into that? Where do you see the market share going? You start with Andrew.
Why?
Because you haven't talked and I feel really bad. It's your podcast.
You know, fair enough. But also, I'm dumb.
Yeah, me too.
There's
And
no
I'm
such thing
kinda
as stupid
tired.
people.
Frick, man. I guess, a lot of the conversation earlier was talking about, like, you know, with the previous generation, how the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4, like, even with Xbox One's presentation and stuff being far worse than Sony with their PlayStation 4, they still, particularly initially, like, still sold around the same number of units. So I guess it could go in either direction here this time, like who's going to sell more, like which one is like more worth like investment for like the market and stuff. I think the way things are going and like the way it's being talked about and stuff, I think it like things will initially go to like the PlayStation 5 for like, you know, it's hot, like, you know, for the hot period of like, you know, the first couple days, maybe the week or so, but it's probably not going to take that much time before like things even out more, and I don't know what's going to happen then, but I think the PS5 will have a stronger start. It's probably not going to matter much, but I think it'll have a stronger start than the Series X.
Yeah, I think that's the most likely outcome too. Just because of the market share of the last generation is hugely in favor of Sony. It was probably 3-1 in favor of Sony. And Microsoft's just not focused as much on selling the box. I've seen so many tweets now of like Microsoft, like someone will say something like, "Oh, like which box are you gonna get?" And someone will comment and be like, "Well, I have been an Xbox fan, but I'm thinking about getting a PlayStation." And then Microsoft actually responds to that person and says, "Hey, that's really great. We're really happy that you're choosing the console you're gonna play with your friends on. That's awesome. You can also just play xCloud on your phone and play your Xbox games that way." Like that's what they're going for, and so I feel like the market share numbers are probably going to play in Sony's favor. But I guess the metric I'm curious to see is the revenue from each company. How much money is Microsoft going to make versus how much money is Sony going to make? I think that's going to be the real test of how to compare those two models and how they actually play against each other. And I feel like the market share number is going to become, it's still important, of course, because developers will make choices about what exclusive games they want to have and what partnerships they want to have based on that market share number. But I feel like that's going to start changing into comparing their revenues.
Yeah, I think in an ideal situation, Xbox would want their platform on PlayStation and Switch. Like, they sell a box because that's just the norm, but you could say maybe they've changed this way because they took an L, so it's like, oh, we can do whatever we want now. But I think under Phil Spencer, they've kind of realized that it's not that they're a bad brand. Like, they're going to sell boxes for sure, like tons of boxes, but it's their brand that gets them the money. It's the Game Pass. It's now xCloud. It's Gold. And people always give Microsoft the L for putting their games on PC. They own Windows.
Yeah.
So it's the money from Windows too. So if you're saying like, oh, screw Xbox, why would I pay for their console when I can build a PC? You gotta buy Windows. Or you get like the non-registered, but they still make money.
Well, they're gonna
That's
make
still them winning.
They're gonna make more money off of you because you didn't buy a box they lost money on. They just get the 30% cut of the game you bought on their own store, the Windows Store, or you pay for one of their games and they get even more money, and they don't lose money on the box that you got. Like it's not gonna hurt Microsoft.
I didn't think about that. Yeah, they have a big hold on consoles and on PC alike. Like, they have two of those markets. I didn't think about that. Oh, shit.
Yeah, like, you can call it a cop-out, like, oh, they don't have to sell boxes, they're just going everywhere now. But it's like, they're probably making a little bit more money than Sony, though, like, if you look at it, it's like, they could end up making more money than Sony, because they have so many services and so many platforms that they can just stretch across. Like, literally, to play some games on Switch, like Minecraft and stuff, you're signing into Xbox Live. And now PlayStation now, too.
And I
doubt they make money from that, but...
Yeah, and also just the fact that they are now going to be on iOS. It's not going to be the most ideal, implementation, but they're even going to be on iOS now. So they're everywhere. They are everywhere. That's a much bigger reach than Sony has with the limited number of boxes they'll sell versus every smartphone and every computer that can now run their games.
Agreed. Since this kind of seems like it's going towards the end, I have one more question that I'm actually trying to find real quick. Unless you guys have anything you want to say real quick to wrap it up.
Oh, that's fine. Take your time.
I'm curious how much the Series S is going to be a factor, because I don't know if I'm going to get a Series X. I think I would go for a Series S. $300 is really compelling. The last time a console released for $300 was the Xbox 360 in 2005. Like, it's been 15 years. And I'm not counting Switch because it's a different game. That's something else.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, it's like, I don't think they're the same console, like the same like concept, but it's like putting that against a $400 PS5. It's like, yeah, that's more value, but it's like, how many people are going to care about that?
Yeah.
Like, they technically still share the market space being the quote unquote value consoles. So it is kind of down to them. And then the base models are like, they're the same price. They're vibing. Like, get whatever you want. But it's like, if you're on a budget, you're probably going to go for the Series S, or if you can spare another $100, then it's like, maybe go for the PS5.
And usually you hear consoles, or how about this? I've been seeing a lot of like traditionally PC gamers on YouTube, like Linus Tech Tips, like those kind of people who are like definitely more geared towards PC. Even them saying the Series S is an unbelievable bargain. I mean, it's a really powerful console. It has an SSD inside of it. You can't buy a PC that has those kinds of specs. Like, it's an incredible proposition. And then you put on top of that all access, and it's just, I don't know, like, it's a really easy sell for just being able to play games at home. And I think most people fall into that. most people play games are playing things like Madden and Call of Duty, and that's
Yeah.
not tied to PlayStation. That's just, if you want to just play sports games or Call of Duty, which is a huge like market of, or a huge number of people, you should get a Series S, like 100%.
Yeah. I have a couple questions before we go, and then I have a comment.
Yeah.
I'll run through these pretty quick because some of them we've already kind of touched on, but I at least want to read their question aloud.
Mm-hmm.
My friend Cakes asked, thoughts on the performance between the two consoles and the fact that Sony seems to not be putting in as much effort into their consoles since they announced that they will be releasing PS exclusives on PC also in the future like they did with Detroit to focus more on PC. I've seen him say this in the Discord I'm in with him, and I think it's kind of a dumb, not to call you dumb Cakes, I love you, but it's not really a good thing. Sony puts their exclusives on PC like 3 years after they're already got the limelight. And even with Detroit, it's like Detroit was just like Detroit. It's not going to ever be a Last of Us or anything. And then with Death Stranding, it's like, I guess that's still a PlayStation exclusive, but that's like a Kojima thing. So it's like, I think
It's more second party. It's a second party game, not a first party game.
Yeah, so they could do whatever they want. The big one is Horizon, which I think
that is a big one.
That's a big one. I think that's also a big marketing ploy for Forbidden West that's coming out. So it's like, I don't think they're focusing on putting things on PC. I think it just happens after they're like, this isn't making money anymore. Maybe we'll use this to market something. Like, I'm predicting you're not going to see The Last of Us on PC. You're probably not going to see God of War on PC.
It's like Nintendo. If they were to put a game on PC, they'd be like, let's put Splatoon on PC. They're not going to put Mario on PC. They're going to pick one of their smaller franchises. Not that Splatoon is small. Great game. Can you read the question again? There's something I wanted to comment on it, and I can't remember what it was. What was the question again?
Thoughts on the performance difference between the two consoles and the fact that Sony seems to not be putting as much effort into their consoles since they announced that they will be releasing PlayStation exclusives on PC also in the future like they did with Detroit and more to focus on PC.
Yeah, I think that the two things at the beginning there I wanted to comment on. One, the whole Sony's not caring about performance. It's not that they don't care about performance. It's that they valued the SSD more than the teraflops and the graphical, the graphics processor. And just Microsoft took a different approach there. But the other part, the performance difference. This is one of those things where I don't personally think the performance difference matters. However, I think we all remember the performance comparisons between the Xbox One and the PS4 at launch. It was obnoxious, but it was important to people, and it stated a narrative, which was the Xbox One costs more money and doesn't perform as well as the PS4 does. Like Call of Duty was 900p, whereas PS4 was 1080p, and it set this framing that I think that, again, like the parent going into the store, oh, I heard the Xbox isn't as powerful as the PlayStation. Like, it does matter in those contexts. Like, not to me personally, but I can see that mattering. And the difference in teraflop performance between an Xbox One and a PS4 was minimal. It was 1.4 teraflops on the PS4 and 1.3 or 1.2 on the Xbox One. And there's enough of a difference to have Call of Duty running at 1080p on the PS4 and 900p on the Xbox One. There's a much bigger difference in this console generation when it comes to graphical output, which is about 10 teraflops on PS5 and 12 teraflops on Xbox One X, Series X. We don't know how that's going to translate to third-party games, but it is possible that the Xbox Series X games will, and I think it's more likely, will run next-gen games better. So I do wonder how many comparison videos we're going to have of oh, here's Resident Evil running only at 2K on a PS5, but it's running in native 4K on an Xbox Series X, and that's going to be this framed discussion about how PS5 isn't powerful and yada 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 and a bunch of other bullshit. I do wonder if that is going to happen. Again, it doesn't personally matter to me. I'm still getting a PS5 over an Xbox Series X, but I think that might happen and might become a common framing that we see.
Yeah, real quick, before we get to Andrew, it's like it's not going to be anything. I think right now you see with the PS4 Pro and One X, it's like, yeah, it looks a little bit better on the One X, but it's like most people don't care. It's like it's a little bit. It's like if you want the best graphics, yeah, go to One X. If you don't, it's like PS4 Pro is going to run it perfectly. I don't think it's that much of a performance difference. Third parties aren't going to make the Xbox version just the best, like amazing, blow it out of the water, because they're not going to care that much. And even like, well, it's like, hear me out. It's like, they're going to make it a little bit better, but it's like, it's not going to be this huge performance leap. It's not going to be like, we're putting all the work into the Series X version, and then PS5 is going to get a muddy down port.
No, I don't think they're going to perform badly. I guess like the PS4 and Xbox One X, though, there was a difference in terms of you would see like, okay, Tomb Raider is going to have, on PS4 Pro, it's going to have a performance mode where the resolution might be lower and you have a higher frame rate, or you have a higher resolution and a lower frame rate. But on the Xbox One X, you would just get both. You get the higher frame rate and the higher resolution. So there were some performance differences that we were seeing there. But I think the generation was solidified enough that it didn't have the same impact as like the initial Xbox One PS4 comparisons did. So I still think it remains to be seen. The other part that remains to be seen too, though, is how powerful the SSD is and how much of a difference that makes in the graphical performance of games versus just a standard graphics card. So there's a lot of factors we just don't know yet. We're just going to have to wait and see. Aesthetic Gamer on Twitter, who did a lot of the leaks for Resident Evil Village, which turned out to be 100% accurate. Like the most accurate predictions I think I've ever seen, has said that the PlayStation 5 is struggling with Resident Evil Village, whereas on PC and Series X it's not having some of the same problems. So maybe that's just a unique case with Resident Evil Village, but we'll have to wait and see.
What do you say, Andrew?
I said I could see that because, like, when I was watching other people, like, react to the showcases and stuff or show Resident Evil Village, like, I wouldn't notice it, but I would notice people talking about the frame rate being not that great. I think I heard someone talk about that on Hogwarts Legacy, too, during that showcase, but, yeah, I don't know.
Is there anything you want to add to the question?
No, I think I'm good, fam.
Alright, feel bad.
I talk too much, I'm sorry.
No, it's not that, it's just that I'm not smart.
You're good, man.
Don't say that. There's no such thing as stupid people. That's not a thing.
I'm not saying
Except
I was
me.
stupid, I'm just saying I'm not smart.
I 100% believe that. Like, there's no such thing as stupid people. It's just not a thing. Like, smart is. I don't think that's really a. I don't know. I think people put too much weight into that. You're good, dude. You're totally fine.
I think I'm kind of dumb, but I think it's like most of my
No,
ADHD
you're not.
because I can't focus. Like I'm a.
No, I feel that. I know that.
Sure.
I have ADHD too. It's tough.
It sucks, man.
I used to
I
take
guess
Adderall,
it's
but I
off.
hated myself on Adderall, so I had to stop.
Dude, yeah, I had some medicine that was also for anxiety and depression. It was like all 3 in 1, and it was like it was bad.
It makes it worse. It's
It really
awful.
does.
Yeah.
We touched on this, but Meech Flow asks, what are your console launch plans? Are you picking up either or both of these systems, and what versions, and what game are you going to play first? For me, PS5, I might do the Xbox All Access thing and get the Series X. That way for $35 a month. Getting Miles Morales, might get Godfall to play with everybody, and then I kind of want Demon Souls. And then I'd want COD and Assassin's Creed Valhalla. But it's like, it depends on what I can afford, but those are the ones I'm really looking at.
What was the question
I think,
again?
Yeah. What are your console launch plans? Are you picking up either or both of these systems, and what versions? And what game are you going to play first? And I'm getting the disc version of the PS5.
What are you doing, Andrew?
Okay, well, I'm pretty sure, like, especially after all this conversation and stuff, like, after thinking about it and stuff, well, other people were talking, I'm pretty sure I want, the PlayStation 5, but, like, again, times are tough and whatnot, so I don't know if I'll, like, be able to actually do that. If I could get any, it would probably be the Series S, just because it's the cheapest at like $300, and that's the good value and stuff. And I had to think about that realistically. But I would want the PS5, and if I could, I would probably get that instead. And the game that I'd probably want to play most would be Resident Evil Village. I don't think that's like a launch title or anything though, so I don't think that's going to be there when the system comes out though. What are like the launch titles for PlayStation 5?
It's Godfall's there, Sackboy Adventure, Spider-Man Miles Morales, Destruction All Stars, Demon's Souls, and then like the Ubisoft games like Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Watch Dogs Legion. I think those are the main players.
COD, Cold War.
Oh yeah, COD, right. Well, technically, COD comes out the next day. It's not a launch game. It comes out one day after launch.
Ooh. Well, I guess
it's a launch game. Yeah, that's a launch game too. That totally counts.
I have a picture of it real quick. It should take 2 seconds. Yeah, all right. Spider-Man Miles Morales, Sackboy, Destruction All Stars, Demon's Souls, Godfall, Valhalla, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Madden 21, Dirt 5, Destiny 2 Beyond Light, Blops Cold War, Watch Dogs Legion, Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition, and NBA 2K21.
Ooh, NBA K2. Oh, I'm getting that one at launch.
Oh shit, me too.
I couldn't even say the name of it. I don't play sports games, to be very clear.
Yeah, probably Demon's Souls, because I want to get more into the Soulsborne games, so that would be the game that I would pick.
Demon's Souls is 100% my game that I'm going to be playing at launch, which is why I'm getting an Xbox Series S at launch so I can play Demon's Souls. No, I'm getting it. I already actually have my pre-order in. Matt and Dallas were very, very helpful on letting us know that there were GameStop pre-orders. So I literally saw the text, didn't even respond to you guys. I just saw the text and I'm like, if I respond to this, I might miss out on the console. So I'm just leaving right now. And I drove to GameStop immediately. I got a digital version of the PS5, which going into GameStop and getting a digital version of a console is like saying, hi, I'm never going to see you again. Bye. It felt like the guy across the counter was like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, I'm getting the digital version. He was taken back and didn't believe me. I'm like, but you have it, right? They had 20 units in the store. 3 of them were digital units. So apparently that's on the low end of the ratio, but apparently there's a lot less digital units out there than the physical one.
Yeah, luckily I wanted the disc because I got to the Amazon listing a few minutes late and the disc version was still there, so I copped that. Luckily, you don't have to pay anything on Amazon, so I'm golden right now.
Excuse me.
So I got mine locked in.
Yeah, it's nice just having your foot in the door and knowing it's there.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm in line. Yeah, I want the digital version just because I don't buy physical games. I've always kind of bought things digitally. By the time I was really listening to music and was buying my own music, I had an iPod. So and when I started buying my own movies, I played them on my iPod. So I just have always been. I started buying things digitally, so I've just kind of maintained that. So it just made sense to get the console. Plus, it looks better. The disc unit, just with it's the Hunchback of Notre Dame. It looks awful. It's so ugly looking, in my opinion. But the digital version looks nice and sleek because it doesn't have that awkward hump on it. I get why it's there. I get it's functional, but I like the look of the digital version. It fits my needs more, so I'm going with that one. And I already have it. I have my receipt in my pocket, and I feel like they're not going to cancel a pre-order for an in-store pickup like that. So I feel like I have no risk of it being canceled on me. So I feel pretty set. I feel set at this point that it's happening. I'm getting it on launch day, and it's going to be great. This is also the first time I've ever bought a PlayStation at launch, so it's exciting.
Same, I'm hyped. Before we end, it's been 3 fucking hours.
Which we joked beforehand.
I was kidding when I made that tweet. I was like, 2 hours in, let's go for 3, boys.
I'm so sorry. I guess before I read this closing statement from somebody, I want to say... Actually, let me read this closing statement. Omar Shakri 17 says, PS4 is for the memories, Xbox is for the friendship, Nintendo is for the creativity, and PC is for the freedom. So no matter where you go, there is something for you, and we're all gamers united.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
as we wrap up, I want to give a huge fucking thank you to Holden. I literally asked him like 2 hours in advance if he wasn't doing anything. He probably expected an hour and a half, and it's been 3 hours.
No worries. I had
Please
fun.
subscribe to his podcast, his Twitter, whatever. Help him out. You just launched the grind.
I did, yeah. So I released the first part of a video essay series analyzing Stadia and kind of basically why its launch was lackluster and why the hype has kind of died down. The first episode is out. The feedback has been overwhelmingly negative because I don't think people liked what
really?
I had to say. Yeah, I posted it to Reddit just to kind of like get it out there, and I made the decision to post it on the Stadia Reddit because I figured I would get some good feedback from the most dedicated Stadia fans, and they fucking hate me. They really hate me. So
they hate facts.
Oh yeah, so I think they review bombed the video and just disliked it to hell. But
now please go reverse that. Please go give it a like.
It's whatever. Thank you, but yeah, it's whatever. But yeah, so I'm releasing 2 more parts. They're going to be focusing on kind of how Stadia's launch compares to how Nintendo entered the market, Microsoft entered the market, and Sony entered the market with Xbox, NES and PlayStation 1. And then the third part is going to be talking about the viability of it being a big player in the future, and if Stadia is just going to be canceled by Google, or if it's actually going to be the 4th console, if you will, like a serious player that actually competes. And then I'm considering doing a 4th part now because there was enough. Some of the criticisms I got on Reddit were the usual, just like, you're pushing an agenda, you're lying, like that kind of stuff. But there was also some valid points that I wanted to bring up that I think are relevant. They don't sway me or make me want to change the video that I just put out, but I think that they're valid enough arguments that I want to respond to them and give them a platform. So I'm probably going to do a 4th episode as well, kind of focusing on the counter arguments to what I presented. But I was planning on doing an episode once a week, but just with school starting and then kind of rethinking how I'm going to be approaching the next few episodes because of the feedback I got. I'm pushing it out for a few more weeks, but it's happening.
I'm still hyped for real. It's some good stuff.
Thank you.
Andrew, you're going to say something? I think you got cut off and I feel bad.
But no, I'm good.
I talked too much again. I'm so sorry, man.
No, I don't think I was saying anything. Was I? I might have been saying something. I don't know. I'm very tired.
Me too, man. And with that, again, fucking thank you, Holden. Please go support him. Follow Andrew.
Thanks for having me.
Because he doesn't have... No problem, man. Anytime. Follow Andrew too because he doesn't have that many followers. I don't think he cares, but I care because he posts.
I do. I'm lonely.
I'll follow you.
Thank you to Andrew for being an incredible co-host and my best friend, and thank you for accepting to have a guest on literally 2 hours before we were gonna record.
Dude, I just roll with whatever.
And thank you to our non-existent fans. I love you so much, and if you're there in the future, what up, dog? And with that is the end of the Free to Play podcast. I don't have a rigmarole. Just have a nice day, everybody. And I think the big takeaway from this whole conversation: buy a Nintendo Switch. Have a nice
buy
night.
the 3DS.
Right. No. No. Switch is better right now.
Peace out.